All right. My name's Deb Saintsing, and I've been with Keller Williams, I think, since 2012. I've had my real estate license, though, since 1986. So that sort of tells you how old I am. And in 1986, another lady and I, well, it really doesn't show how old I was a child. We started our own business called Brown Saintsing Realty. It was BS for short. I got a lot of laughs. Okay. So we started with a cash input of $3,000 each. That was excluding what we paid to join the Board of Realtors. She was an experienced agent. I was not. Our first office was in a gas station / car wash, but the rent was cheap. So we stayed there for probably a year. Then we moved out into a really nice office on the other side of town between a millionaire's estate and a graveyard. So we had nowhere to go but up. And we did. We ended our business there when my partner got sick, and at the time we had like 12 to 13 agents in the small town of Thomasville, North Carolina. So we were on the cutting edge of marketing. We didn't know the term, outside the box, but we were thinking outside the box. We did a lot of print advertising back then because it was before the internet, before Facebook, before Twitter. So it was even before cell phones, really, before cell phones. So we drew cartoon characters named Maud and Edith. And Maud and Edith did all of our marketing for us, and people remembered it. To this day, people remember Maud and Edith. So that's my success story. I used a lot of what you're going to learn in here today because my partner was very savvy about how to get business, and she knew about lead generating. And that was pretty phenomenal back in 1986. She was on the phone all day, every day, almost. So we had a lot of business really fast. All right. Today you're going to uncover your big why and how to achieve it. You're going to commit to daily lead generation to grow your business. And you're going to use the influencing language of sales to win clients. Hi, Arlene. And you're going to be accountable to your big why and your life. So that's what you're going to get out of today. And let's get started. So, we're going to ignite your business today. All of you have got your real estate license. You've joined Keller Williams Realty. How many in here are experienced agents, have worked somewhere before? One. Will Fry. Will, where did you work?
Well, I worked with Wyford Realtors. I worked with Remax.
Okay.
I worked with Charles Wettenberg.
So how long have you had your license?
Since 1986.
Maybe we went to take our state exams together. Who knows? Okay, so we have an experienced agent in here, and he probably thinks he knows everything that he's going to get out of this Ignite course, but he'll learn some things, and he'll be glad that he came. Let's get your head in the game. I think there's a, Welcome to Ignite, discuss questions on page 7. I think it's your page 7. See if there's some questions. Yes.
Sorry, I do not have a book.
She's making copies as we speak. John doesn't have a book. And what's your name, John?
Botini.
You have your tent card there. Okay. So she's making copies for you guys. Would someone who has the manual like to read these questions out loud, and then we're going to answer them silently? Yep.
Okay. The first one, have you achieved your financial goals through your career so far? Why or why not? What is the one thing that makes one real estate agent more successful than others?
All right. So I want you guys to answer those questions for me. We'll take just a couple of minutes to do that. And John and Fatini, y'all can just kind of think it. everyone finish that? Brandy, have you finished? How about reading your answers?
The first one, I said, no, I've not achieved my financial goals thus far because I'm just getting started.
Okay.
And then you want me to do the second one as well?
Mm-hmm.
So what I believe makes one agent more successful than the other, I think a lot of qualities go into that. Just some that I wrote down was dedication, marketing, focus, and service.
Okay. And the other thing was, why don't all agents do it? But so your first two answers are kind of subjective. There's no right or wrong answer there. It's your answers. But when you ask what is the one thing that makes one real estate agent more successful than others, there's only one answer for that. Does anybody have a guess?
Lead generation.
Lead generation. Where did I hear that? Okay, it's lead generation. Do you know what I'm talking about when I say lead gen? And we'll abbreviate it. Everybody here says lead gen. You're adding people to your database every day. You're talking about your real estate business in the line at the gas station where you go in to pay. If you go into the bank instead of going through the drive-up window. Go into the fast food places. Talk to people in line. You're going to have to learn to be really outgoing and talk to people about what you do. And give your business card and get names back. So why don't all agents do lead generation?
I'm afraid to.
Okay. Fear is a big factor. What are you afraid of? Huh? Rejection? Is that what it is? Rejection? Somebody's going to get angry with you for calling? You know what? It's not going to kill you. You're not going to die from it. You're not going to be buried 6 feet under from it. You just go on to the next one. You just keep your buoyancy, is a good word. Stay positive. That's one of the things. But you also just have to be disciplined. You have to learn some skills to do it. You're not going to just be asked to pick up the phone and start calling people and not know what to say to them. You're going to learn influencing sales language. Okay? So that's what this Ignite course is going to do for you. So it's okay to be afraid right now. A little bit afraid. Don't be afraid of anything. Okay? A lot of people don't believe it works. But it works. And if you're not lead generating now and getting appointments and listings and buyers and sales in your pipeline, if you're not doing that right now, then 90 days down the road, you're not going to have anything. You're just going to be sitting high and dry. And we don't want that to happen. This course is designed to get you into productivity really fast. And today, later on, you're going to pick up the phone and call some people that you know. And I just want to tell you, I have not taught an Ignite 1 class yet that I didn't have people in here getting appointments on the very first day. And they're jumping up and down and saying, oh my gosh, what do I do? So that's why we do it. It's great stuff. All right, now you're in business. You're in business for yourself. And the one thing that can propel your career, as we just said, is lead generating. You're in the business of sales, number 1. You're in the business of lead generating, number 2. And your mindset matters. You may think that lead generation will be making phone calls that are bothering people and annoying people. But when someone calls you and starts their sales pitch, and we get a lot of those calls, it does annoy you, right? But if you're calling from a point of contribution, I have something I want to offer you. I need to give you something. You're my friend. First of all, you're going to be calling people that you know to begin with. Then you're not you're not bothering them. You're giving them something. Always confront people or talk to people with the mindset of contribution. That's part of the Keller Williams culture. That we're in this business to offer a service. We're giving you something. You're giving your people your time and your expertise. Okay? And even as new agents, you're professionals. Gary Keller said that when he first started, he put himself out there as a professional. And that kind of implies experience, right? So he said he talked to people about what he knew. And if they asked a question about something he didn't know, he said, I don't know the answer to that, but I will find out and get back to you. And that's what he always did. So that's what I want you guys to do. If somebody asks you a question that you don't know the answer to, you call somebody here in the market center that you know and ask them, and they'll tell you. That's the other thing about Keller Williams that's so great is we help each other. It's not like other offices that agents are really in competition with each other. We want every agent here to be successful. So, in order to have the right mindset, we want to learn the 6 personal perspectives. And those personal perspectives come from 3 attributes that we hope everybody has. And those attributes are mindset, attitude, and your approach to life. Okay? Mindset, attitudes, and approach to life. So if you're afraid to make your lead generating calls, then your mindset isn't right. Your attitude about it's not right. And probably your approach to life is not right. So you're going to learn the 6 personal perspectives. What is it? This is something else that Gary Keller discovered. What is it that differentiates those who achieve at the highest level from those who don't seem to accomplish as much? And it's these 3 attitudes, okay? Or attributes, I should say. And from them, we're going to learn 6 personal perspectives. One thing that I like, Mark Twain said, keep away from people who try to belittle your ambitions. Small people always do that. But the really great people make you feel that you too can become great. So try to surround yourself with people who have the right approach to life, the right attitude, and the right mindset, and that are successful. And these agents here in the office, in the market center that have been at this a long time and are successful, I promise you they're willing to share information with you. So don't be afraid to ask. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is commit to self-mastery. So would someone read at the top of your page 10 that little thing about self-mastery? Who can I get to read that? John, do you have the book yet?
Yes, I do.
Would you read that?
Self-mastery is the possession of great knowledge, skills, and habits that make you the master of you.
Okay. So you see in your book there it says to know your goals, know your strengths and weaknesses, know how hard to work with both your strengths and weaknesses to seek and master the necessary knowledge, skills, and habits to reach your goals. Throughout Ignite, you're going to be acquiring the skills and developing habits to be successful. You're going to be moving towards self-mastery by taking Ignite. I promise. So that's great. So the step 2 is you're going to commit to the 80-20 principle. Does anybody know what that 80-20 principle is?
Has to do with big rocks.
Big rocks might be in there. Yes, yes. John.
20% of your business is,
You got it backwards.
yeah.
20% of your efforts are going to result in 80% of your results. Let's see how they say it here. The idea that 20% of your actions lead to 80% of your results may be one of the most powerful principles you can apply to your life. Think about it. Some people are putting 80% of their effort in, and they're only getting 20% of results. It's when we think we're busy and we've got a lot to do, we think that we're going to accomplish a lot, but we don't. We don't really accomplish anything. We're doing busy work. So just kind of remember this principle. It's very, very important. 20% of your efforts are going to result in 20% of your business. 80% of your business is going to result in 80% of your business. So essentially what they're saying is you only have to lead generate 20% of your time to get 80% of the results. You don't have to lead generate all day long. So you're going to learn to block time on your calendar for your lead generating, and you're going to learn to protect that time. And you're going to learn to put on your calendar your personal life things. Time with kids, time with family, those kind of things. So next we're going to move to the principle of E to P. When I first heard that in Ignite, I thought they were saying eat a pea. And I thought, eat a pea? What is that going to do for me? I don't even like peas. But it's E to P. So would somebody read at the top of your page 11 the thing about high achievers? Okay.
High achievers are always looking for the purposeful way. By doing this, they break through the ceiling of their natural behavior. That's very good and very right. You're going to learn about a course called Bold that you can take later on. It's offered usually twice a year in our area. I've taken Bold twice. I was going to do it again this season, but I had some things come up. And they talk about a drunk monkey that sits on your shoulder all the time. And that drunk monkey is telling you that, you don't want to lead generate. Just go get some coffee. Let's go get some coffee and a donut. You don't want to lead generate. People aren't going to want to hear from you. That's your drunk monkey, and you just need to stuff him in the closet or in a chest somewhere and not let him go with you to work. Ignite is not only designed to help start your business, it's designed to help you grow your business. Ignite will help you move from entrepreneurial to purposeful. That's what the E to P is. And you'll learn to do that with skill mastery. There's a video somewhere on our KW Connect or KW University that Brenda Benson recorded, and she is the operating partner of the Valentine Market Center. She's also one of the owners of this market center. And Brenda Benson is absolutely phenomenal. And in this video, she pointed out to focus on the 20%, create strategies and action items. This is not in your book. This came from the video. Follow the model. And the model is in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book that Gary Keller wrote. So you're going to want to have that book. If you don't have it already, get it and start using it. Install and implement systems that are supported by the model. That book teaches you everything else that you need to know about how to set your systems up, what to be doing and when. And the biggest thing next is to be accountable to your actions. Have someone that you can partner with. You might find someone in this course that you would like to partner with, and you're going to boost each other up and help each other keep going. And let's just say John and John over here. We got two Johns sitting on the same table. Let's say they partner up and they're going to be accountability partners. And John York calls John Barty and says, gosh, I'm having a really hard day. This lead generating, I just don't think I'm going to be able to do it. Well, John Barty, you're going to tell John York, hey, guy, it's not going to hurt you. You're not going to die. Remember what that instructor said. It's not going to put you 6 feet under. You just need to get with it. and maybe even get together in two separate parts of a big room and do it together. There's a lot of excitement when you have other people in the room talking. You think it's going to be interruptive, but it's not. It's kind of exciting to hear people talking and conversing with other clients. You'll see that when we start making phone calls later today. I'm probably taking too long on this one because it's important. We use a training tracker here, and I need to show you that if I can do it without screwing everything up. When you are set up with all of your my KW, I can't do it. When you can get into this system right here, you see where I am on the screen there under education. You go down to my tracker. And I want all of you to do that as soon as you're set up in the computer. Go to my tracker and go to your, well, you probably won't have to choose that. It'll automatically just come up to a dashboard where you can set your goals. It shows the number of people added to your database, how many phone calls you made, handwritten notes, and homes previewed. And this is going to be part of something we're going to learn in just a minute. So I'm sure Kelly will go over that again with you. In the next session of Ignite, she's going to talk about the tracker. And she told me to tell you that she's going to meet with you at 10 o'clock tomorrow for all of those that don't have access. So be here at 10 o'clock tomorrow, and Kelly's going to help you get what you need to get into our systems and get your email address and all that. All right, moving on. Learning based. Okay, so high achievers remove beliefs from their thinking that hold them back. No, I skipped one. Okay, so learning based. This is part of being learning based. And we offer all kind of courses here that you're going to be able to take that are absolutely phenomenal and free to you. We have what's called Carolina's education system, and it's free to you when we have these phenomenal people come from all over the country to this market center, and they're going to share how they became successful with you. And you can take all of their ideas or part of their ideas and use them as your own. So learning based is also reading. You want to read motivational books. You want to listen to motivational tapes on your car or CDs, because it really does help your mindset. It keeps you positive. And that's going to be the big thing to keeping your lead generation going. You have to get up every day positive. I'll just regress a little bit. I lost my husband 3 years ago this month, and last year I had to have neck surgery on my neck because my spine was being encroached. I could barely walk. So I've been through some things over the past couple of years. My husband had Alzheimer's, so I took care of him and kept him at home. But through all of it, it's something I learned years and years ago. The minute you step out of the bed in the mornings, you go, gosh, this is going to be a great day. Mm-hmm. And I promise you, your energy level is sparked immediately. You don't have to have that first cup of coffee. And you will be ready for the day, no matter what's going on in your life. It's all about mindset. So, I also read motivational books. I listen to motivational tapes. I keep things taped to my mirror constantly, little sayings and things that will help me. And I hope you'll do the same thing. Like Keller Williams agents do, so you won't be alone. All right, now then we're going to go on to that remove the limiting beliefs. Would somebody read at the top of the page about high achievers? I think I read it already, but I want one of you to do it. Hayward, how about you?
High achievers remove beliefs from their thinking that hold them back.
Okay. So would someone else read that little sentence right below that. Bim? Pim, I'm sorry.
That's okay. In order to successfully develop at a higher level, you will need to clear your mind of limiting beliefs first. For example, are any of these thoughts in your head?
So those limiting beliefs would be, I have to be an expert and know everything before I can begin my business. I'm not valid yet. Okay, we talked about that just a minute ago. It's hot in here, isn't it? Gary Keller told you what to do about that. If you don't know something, say, let me ask and I'll get back to you. Don't let anybody know that you're not a professional and that you're not an expert by stumbling around when you answer that question for them. So the other thing is, I can't be successful yet. I will need to invest a lot of money to kickstart my real estate career. Yes, it costs money to start your real estate career, but what would it cost to open a restaurant? What would it cost to open a car dealership? What would it cost to start a construction company even? Being a licensed contractor is expensive. So it costs very little compared to other things like being a doctor. Even being a doctor. Even setting up a salon or a spa would be expensive because of the equipment and the insurance. The third thing is, because I'm in the business will come to me naturally. Everybody's going to know that I'm in business. I don't need to devote 3 hours a day to lead generating. People know what I'm doing. It's just going to come. Yep. It won't. I promise. You have to let people know. I hope all of you have already done it or will do it. Send out a letter to everyone in your sphere, people that you know, family, people in your church, people that your kids go to school with, and tell them that you are embarking on a new career, that you're in the business of real estate and you're with Keller Williams Realty. That's a really good thing to do. It's cheaper than doing a newspaper print ad that some people do. They pay for the newspaper things, just joins, you've seen them. So just send out a letter. I hope have you done that? Have any of you done that yet? Do it tonight. Get ready. Get your mailing list and get it done. So those are limiting beliefs. Let's turn those limiting beliefs into unlimiting beliefs, okay? How would you redirect these negative thoughts into positive ones, into unlimiting beliefs that fuel your success? Okay, I think there's a question. You've got some questions there to answer, right? On the bottom of your page 12. I'm going to give you a few minutes to answer those questions, please. mind sharing your answer to the first question?
With more experience and work, the expertise will come, and I can be even more successful.
Okay. Anybody else want to share their answer to the first? Elizabeth?
I can learn the things I need to know from the experts I surround myself with.
Okay. This training will best prepare me for success in the real estate business, and taking productive action will cause my success. So you pretty much said the same thing in different words. Okay, who wants to share the answer to the second one? Fontini? Fontini, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Anything I make is better than nothing.
Okay, all right. Anybody up here want to share the answer to the second one? John York?
Now you're in the business for the long term, and if you know your goal, you must focus on things that will make you your goal 80-20.
Okay, all right. So kickstarting my career doesn't take a lot of money. It does take leads, and leads don't have to cost a lot. Leads can cost $0. Now there are agents out there who have teams that pay Zillow and other companies for zip codes, and they promise that they'll give you leads that are viable. Don't waste your money right now on that, because half of them aren't viable leads. And a lot of times the houses that they get out of Zillow aren't even on the market anymore, or they're for sale by owners, or they're rentals. So you might pick up a client, but the information they have is not good, and right off the bat they have sort of a sour feeling.
I'm on a team and they give us leads, and most of them are, I hate to say this, a waste of your time.
Yes.
No, I'm working with somebody else. No, I'm just looking. No, why are you calling me?
Yes.
So waste of time. And I'm so glad I didn't purchase them, because I was actually going to purchase some of my own, and they told me to wait. And actually, one of my friends went into real estate central. I did, and she bought 20 leads for $200 something, and all of them were nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing came out of them.
Zillow is kind of a place for voyeurs to go that are dreaming of something bigger and better. They're really not in the market for a house. There's a few that are, and there's a few buyers that you're going to be working with that find things on Zillow, and they'll call you and ask about it. And it's okay. But most of your business is going to come from people you know. It's going to come from your lead generating. It's going to come from referrals. Probably 80% of my business right now comes from referrals, because I've been in this business so long. So do it. Lead generate. To consistently have business, and I talked about this earlier, I will have to consistently go after it. I can't afford to miss 3 hours of lead generation. It's my future. Write that in stone somewhere, okay? So throughout Ignite, you're going to learn how to combat your limiting beliefs and turn them into action. Accountable. Be accountable. That's the sixth one. And we talked about that earlier. I'd really like it if some of you could find partners in here today to be accountability partners. Hire a coach. We have the best productivity coach in the Triad right here at our market center, Arlene McGinn. Guys, she is phenomenal. And what you give her out of your commission is so little compared to what you're going to get from her. And it's a standard here in our office that all new agents sign on with Arlene. You don't have to, but you're going to be missing out on a lot if you don't. And you're so fortunate to be in this market center where she is. So Brenda Benson down in Valentine, I know they have at least one, maybe two productivity coaches in their market center. They're one of the, or they were, one of the highest ranking market centers in the southeast district that we're in with Keller Williams, this market center, I think, has surpassed her now. So in agents and productivity. So that's pretty phenomenal. And if I'm speaking wrong about that, I apologize. Arlene can answer that question better for you. So I know all of you didn't get your information Friday because you're not set up and you couldn't get into the computer. But those of you who did you watch the 6 videos? Okay. So that's really important once you get set up to go back and go into mykw.com and go to KWC Connect and watch the videos on these 6 personal perspectives. They're fabulous. And Brenda's is one of those. All right. Getting the most from Ignite. So I touched on that just a little bit, your missions. And you're going to get a sheet like this, or you have a sheet that looks like this, that you're supposed to do between every session of Ignite. And you were supposed to have done missions before you came here today. Some of you did and some of you didn't. That's okay. So watching those 6 videos was one of your mission statements for today. So you'll get these missions, and please do them between each session of Ignite. And I'll hand these out to the folks that don't have those before we leave. So getting the most out of your business. You guys are not just new agents. You're what we call cappers in training. Okay? Do you know what it means to be a capper here at Keller Williams? I know you probably heard about it from Michelle. Can anybody tell me?
On your way to capping.
You're on your way to capping, but what does it mean when you cap? What is
You get 100% of your commission after paying about $18,000.
It's actually $21,000 when you add in your royalties. To hit that mark and to cap, you're going to need to do about $2.1 million in volume. Now that sounds like a lot, but if you're closing 3 or 4 transactions a month, it's easy to get there. And you're going to see a little bit later what you have to do to reach your goal. We're going to set goals and know what you've got to do to reach them. So it's like setting a roadmap for yourself when you can see that. You know what you have to do to achieve that salary that you want at the end of the year. So on your page 14, there's a grid there. And I kind of want y'all to look through that and circle what kind of personality or person you are there. This shouldn't take long. Okay, who wants to tell me whether they're a prisoner, the vacationer, or the explorer?
Explorer.
Good. All the way down the line, right?
Absolutely.
Didn't tick on any of those that were in the prisoner? Anybody kind of got some maybes in that prisoner area? All right. There's things in the prisoner area that I would have checked simply because it's just my personality. But I have forced myself over the years to be the explorer and not to be afraid of anything. So the explorer listens attentively and participates fully in discussions and exercises, asks meaningful questions, and contributes compelling ahas, arrives to class on time and returns promptly from breaks, adopts a posture of acceptance, takes notes in their manual for future reference, and respects the different learning styles and opinions of others. So we all have different personalities and different ways of arriving at our goals, and we need to respect. And everybody has different learning curves, if you will. So we need to respect those. Okay, on your page 15, it's talking about those your missions that you were supposed to have done for this class. And you're going to be asked to report on your missions and what you did at each session of Ignite. I can't tell you how important these missions are. You have expectations for each of the power sessions from your faculty, your instructor of that day. And there'll be ground rules for each session. So let's go on to, I think it's your page 16. And we'll talk about the expectations for this power session. Ignite 1 is called a power session. So in this power session, we said you're going to learn and declare your big why. You're going to set a monetary goal for yourself for the year. You're going to be accountable to your big why and your monetary goal. Sometimes your big why and your monetary goal are connected. Sometimes they're really not. You're going to use influencing sales language, and you're going to do at least 3 business calls today, later on. In order to maximize your learning, your Ignite faculty is committed to devoting the majority of time on activities in class. This Ignite 1 is kind of the exception there because you're really just getting the basis of what you're going to learn throughout the whole course. You're going to learn to do your 10-4, and I know that's foreign language right now. And you're going to track your numbers on my tracker, which I showed you earlier. During the phone calls activity, you're either going to make the calls yourself or you're going to model that behavior by using a script if you don't have a phone with you or can't make a call. And you're going to support and encourage the other cappers as they make their calls. So this is what your new job is. And you should expect to work on your business every single day for 3 hours doing lead generation. And you can do it first. Some people do it first thing in the morning, 8:30 to whenever. Some people do it in the middle part of the day. Some do it in the evenings when they know people are at home. Sometimes people are busy at night, though, in the evenings. And really, at the start of their day is the best time to catch people. We all have cell phones. And even though the boss says don't use your cell phone at work, everybody uses their cell phone at work. So if you get somebody at work, just ask them if you can call them back when they're at home. Say, I don't want to bother you while you're at work, but I really do want to talk to you about something. Can I call you this evening when you get home? And they'll usually say yes. And you ask, what time do you get home from work? And then say you'll call them 30 minutes after that. Give them time to get in and put their pocketbook down or take their shirt and tie off or whatever. Coat tie. Maybe not their shirt. Some people want to take their shirts off. Okay. All right, we talked about that. Talked about your missions. So now the ground rules for Ignite. These are pretty standard anywhere you go for some education. You're going to arrive to class on time and return promptly from breaks. So that's number 1. Who will read number 2 for me? Alexander. It's your page 17.
Number 2, be fully present. Turn your laptops, tablets, and phones to vibrate or off.
Someone read number 3 for me.
How you participate here is how you participate everywhere.
Okay, guys, that's a big one right there. Remember that. Put that on a little card and put it on your mirror, because how you participate in your classes, in your business, is how you participate everywhere. Respect the different learning styles and opinions of others. John Barty, read number 5, please.
Help each other learn, because none of us is as smart as all of us working together.
I like that one. Hayworth, how about number 6?
Consider everything we discuss confidential.
Will, number 7. 7.
Commit to implementing at least one thing you learn.
Okay. If you commit to implementing one thing you learn each day, just commit to one thing today and start doing it, and tomorrow you're going to learn something new. It's not going to be so overwhelming. Then the last thing is to have fun. Really. This is a fun business when you get into it. It really is. You'll have a lot of fun, especially if you're people. You're going to love making friends with your clients. My clients have become lifelong friends for me, and I stay in constant contact with them, and you're going to do the same thing. How awesome is that? It's not like selling clothes at Belk's or something, which is a great thing, but you can't stay in touch with those people. So, these ground rules come from the BOLD program that I was telling you about. And those are the same ground rules that we always have in BOLD. So remember those. All right. Oh, wow. I get to show you a video if I can. There's 4 skills. Brandon, we welcome you back.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Brandon had to meet with Michelle for a little while. He's not in trouble or anything. Okay, Brandon, we're on page 18 of your book. You're welcome. Okay, so what is your job? Can anybody tell me what your job is?
Sounds like lead gen.
You're right, Hayworth. It's lead generation. It's sales, lead generation. And sales is kind of a funny thing too, because I heard somewhere in a class that I took that we don't really, and it takes the monkey off your back too, we don't really sell these houses. We don't sell them. The seller is the only person that can sell that house. He's the only person that can sign a listing contract with you. He's the only person that can sign a deed over to another person. He's the only person, other than the bank, that can receive money from the sale. So you're not the seller. Your job is to market that property, get buyers into that, qualified buyers into that property. So it kind of takes the monkey off your back, doesn't it? So you can focus on the marketing aspect of it. Will, wouldn't you say that's true?
Yes, that's true.
Will has some experience, so I never tell. I like to not tell people that I sell houses, because I really don't. But sometimes I slip and say, I'll sell your house for you. I'd rather not, though, because I want the sellers to think they're in charge. Okay? So, who is your customer? Very good. And no one if you don't lead generate. Okay? What is your product? Okay. It's your knowledge, your expertise, your ability to deliver a stellar experience every single time. And that's sometimes difficult. And that home inspector that was in here earlier talking about home inspections, a lot of times that's where it becomes difficult. And you have to know how to negotiate through those difficulties and keep everybody happy. So would someone read at the bottom of page 18, right above those skill numbers? Pam?
Today you learn.
I didn't say it right again.
It's Pim, the
I did say Pam. Okay.
Today you learn 4 new skills essential to gaining a strong customer base and having success in real estate sales.
Mm-hmm.
Skill number one, know your big why and monetary goal. Skill 2, commitment to daily lead generation. Number 3, use influencing sell language. And number 4, be accountable to your big why and monetary goal.
Okay. That's another thing that you might want to put on an index card and keep somewhere. All right.
As in might be a test.
I'm sorry?
Sorry.
What?
You said put on an index card. I was like, hold on, is there going to be a test?
No. I was telling them earlier, you missed it, that I put things on index cards and tape them to my mirror or tape them in the car just to remind me of certain things.
Yeah.
Kind of,
Keep it reinforced.
yes, reinforcing. So those are things you want to put on your list. All right, let's get started. Know your big why and your monetary goals. Does anybody already know what their monetary goal is now that they're in real estate? Elizabeth? Since she knows, I bet Will knows. Anybody else? Hayworth knows. Okay, let's see what drives you is not only your mindset and attitude, but what you're passionate about. What stirs your soul? Why are you in this business? And what do you hope to achieve for yourself and your family? The answers to these questions are the basis for your big why. And to fuel that big why will take money and an income goal. So those of you who don't have it, you're going to need to set that goal. To achieve success, you need motivation and inspiration for doing it, your big why. How about somebody reading the passion for your big why, that little paragraph there for me? Brandy, would you do that?
Anyone can achieve the goals set in this course, but not everyone will. The journey requires discipline and a commitment to follow models, systems, and a schedule every day. It requires passion towards something bigger than the task at hand, your big why. First, have a big why built around your passion, then follow the models you'll learn in this course, keep doing it, and you will achieve grand success.
Okay. Those little things at the bottom, passion for your big why, follow the models, time and task over time, on task over time equals success. All right, so we'll go to your page 20. Someone read those bullet points there for me. Who wants to read those? Will, how about reading those?
All right, you don't want to read the paragraph at the top.
You can read that too.
Top agents can all articulate their big why, and you will be able to as well. A big why is what keeps them going when they're tired, bored, or disappointed. It's the spark that ignites their way every day. Your big why might be to have your financial success tied directly to your efforts instead of a salary controlled by the opinions of a boss. To build your own business, to achieve a bigger life through your business.
Okay. So are you starting to think about your big why? You should know your big why. You should know your big why or you wouldn't be here. So right now we're going to do a little exercise. And I love this. Would someone turn those lights out back there for me? And I hope I can read this from here. All right, I want all of you to close your eyes and imagine and visualize your business is thriving and your life is everything you've ever desired it to be. Your customers rave about the experience and value you provide and think of you when they have real estate needs. Your family and friends are so proud of your success and are consistently referring business your way. You are helping others live their dreams of owning a home because you are focused on helping them get what they desire. You're building the foundation and momentum for your entire career and getting relationships and experience and the income you desire. You are the top agent in your market center, or you may even be Rookie of the Year. You're poised to hire a part-time assistant to handle your 80% while you focus on the 20% that grows your business. You are on the path to build a career worth having, a business worth owning, and a life worth living. Okay, we can turn the lights on. Now, I want someone to share with me what they visualized. This is personal, and sometimes it's very difficult because we all have different reasons for the big why. I'll tell you what my big why was, so you feel free to open up. I told you that my husband had Alzheimer's, and my big why was to be able to earn enough money to keep him at home. He had been an attorney and was brilliant, and he knew that his mind was going. So it was very difficult for him. But I had to have my mom in a nursing home with dementia. She died in 2011, so I just really could not let my husband go into a nursing home. It was my big why, my big why. So I did everything I could to build my business. The very first year I came here, I cabbed. The second or third year, I became interim team leader for the market center because our team leader had left and gone to Charlotte, so we needed somebody until we found Michelle. That was pretty big. And my husband's still there, but I'm earning a salary at that point, which was great. So by working hard and doing what the model told me to do, I was able to achieve my big why. My husband was in hospice for 3 days before he passed, but he was at home the entire time. So my big why has changed. And once you achieve your first big why, your big why is going to change too. And you're going to hit a ceiling at some point that you're going to have to change your big why to get through it. So somebody share with me what your big why is. I poured my guts out to you. Alexander.
Is it all right if you have several?
Sure.
I want to build a house in Winston for my girlfriend, myself, her daughter, her mom, and my parents.
Okay.
We actually started talking about it a little while ago. And the second one is I write comic books, and I want to just be able to travel the country and go to comic conventions that I already go to, but just be there and not have to worry about the fact that it costs so much to get there, and it's a lot easier to write the comic books when I have more free time, which I don't right now.
So you're wanting to actually probably build a team that's going to work for you. And run you. In order to do that, it sounds like you might have to have a team working for you. So you're going to have to really set some goals to get to that big why. But that's okay. You know what your goal is. So now you're going to figure out what it takes to get there. Somebody else. Elizabeth.
My goal is to have financial freedom on down the road when my husband retires. He's looking to retire in about 8 years or so.
Oh, okay.
And our dream is to travel, and we'd love to be able to travel the United States. We already can. And we travel internationally. We made a trip to Scotland this year. And
fun.
To Italy, and every place in the world that we can travel to. And so I'd love to be able to support that lifestyle in 8-10 years by not having bills to worry about.
Very good.
Not having to.
I imagine you will be able to do that. Anybody else? Brandy, want to share?
Where to start? For me, I think it definitely is financial freedom, and I also have a passion for teaching, training, mentoring others as well. So being able to accomplish that.
Great. I like that one. Fatini?
I would have to say mine's probably my children. I've been a stay-at-home mom for 10 years. I watched my mom. She passed away with Alzheimer's.
Oh, honey. It's okay. This is hard. We're reaching down into our souls to get to the big why. And this is the most important part of your business. If you don't have it, if you can't find your big why, you don't know what you're working for. And if it's a very personal and hard thing, then it is gut-wrenching. John Barty, tell us.
Well, I was thinking about my parents a lot. They own a business and they're celebrating 30 years this December, and kind of in financial stress for having 3 children. So that's my big one.
Okay, to help them.
To maybe open up the door to something new. I mean, they've been doing the same thing for 30 years.
So you're thinking about maybe having them come and help you at some point.
Maybe. I don't
Maybe
know about that.
another business for them, something,
Yeah.
or help them with retirement.
Yes, that would be in addition to what they're going through right now.
Very good. Everybody seems to have a very unselfish require, but if you have something that you think might be a little selfish, that's okay too. I think I told you I've changed my big why. My big why is to travel like Elizabeth, to be able to go places and do things, and mainly what I want to do is go to places where I can scuba dive. I just recently got my certification as an open water scuba diver, and I want to become an advanced open water scuba diver. So from just having neck surgery in December, I've gone to swimming with the fishes. So it's okay to have a very personal, hard, big why. And once you achieve it, you're going to feel like going on to a different big why. And it may be personal too, like helping a charity. You may have a certain charity that you want to help. I know there's a lot of agents here that's part of their big why, is they have ties to certain things like the Olympics for, what am I trying to say? Help me.
Special Olympics.
Thank you. Yes, Special Olympics. So it's okay to change your big why. I hope that you will, because that means you've achieved your first big why. Okay. All right, so write that big why down somewhere. That's one you want to keep. When you take bold, what they do, and I wish we did it in Ignite, is they write down their big why. They write down their it's in the form of a letter, what their income goal is, and they fold it up, and they put it in a self-addressed envelope with a stamp, and they give it to the bold instructor. And 1 year later, those letters get mailed and come back to you in the mail. And there's that letter to yourself. And you can see whether or not you reach that big why, you reach that income goal. And it's really, really eye-opening. Some people get close, but not quite in a year. They haven't quite achieved it in a year. So they need to readjust. You need to readjust. they teach a class here on business planning, and I think they've already had it this year. I highly recommend you do that next year because it'll be offered here on business planning, and it helps you plan your business. Know what you need for expenses, know what you need for your salary, which may include insurance, health insurance for you or your family. It's really, really important to know those monetary expenses and have them in your business plan. Okay, I want you to turn to page 21 and write the answers to these questions. We just briefly did this, but I want you to write those down. Take 5 minutes to do this. I want you to keep this page, even if you have to copy it and put it somewhere else. And then we're going to take a break after you do this. You can go if you need. This PowerPoint doesn't really stay up with what we're doing, so it sort of skips. Okay, as soon as you've answered all those, you can go on a 5-minute break. We're going to just go ahead and take a 5-minute break. Be back in here at about 2 minutes after 10. That clock is wrong.
Work really hard, you can make more than a doctor does.
Absolutely, absolutely. Who wants to tell us what you're achieving? What will achieving your goal mean for you? The answer to the second one, Elizabeth.
I said that it will enable me to live my core values, which is time with my family, service to others, and giving back and making a difference in the world.
Very good.
Which is very important.
Very good. I see a lot of heads shaking yes on that one. In what ways will your life change? Alexander?
For me, mainly freedom to do the things that I've wanted to do. And I have a lot of different things that I already do, and I don't have time for all of them. So the ability to not go into a job that I work from 3 to 11, 6 days a week is really nice to not have to do that.
Very good. Okay, who wants to share what doors will open for you? John York?
Bigger and better business opportunities.
And to just tag on to that a little bit, I know you may be thinking a lot of agents are able to buy investment property. They come across good investments, and so they build a portfolio of investment properties. I was able to do a little bit of that and have a couple condos that I purchased when they were really, really cheap. And I have kept them rented, and so that's been a side income for me, which has been important. So it's going to open lots and lots of doors for you. Brandy mentioned motivating and mentoring others and teaching. So that's a door that can open for you. You can become an instructor for the state and do post-licensing instruction or CE classes. So there's lots of different things that you can do once you become an experienced real estate broker and have some knowledge about what you're doing. All right. So on your page 22, this is another your turn thing. Gary Keller's mantra is to think big, act bold, and live large. Now, Gary Keller started his real estate career as one person, Gary Keller. I think he had a big cardboard box as a desk in his garage with a folding chair. And when he answered the phone, Gary Keller Real Estate International. Because he knew a lot of people around the globe that he could refer business to. He didn't have to have a license in Pakistan to sell real estate. But if you knew somebody over there, or in Egypt, or wherever, so he answered the phone right off the bat. Gary Keller Real Estate International. That made him sound really big. So he was thinking big, acting bold, and living large, even though he was on a folding chair with a cardboard desk. Nobody knew that. He shared that many, many, many years later after Keller Williams Realty became what it is. So, if you have that same situation, don't let it stop you. Just keep going. Okay, this says to use the camera on your phone and take a picture of your big why and make it your new background so you will see it and be reminded of it every time you use your phone. You don't have to do that. I like to have nice people that I love on my phone. So I put it on my mirror. It's in the bathroom at the mirror so that I see it.
I have an idea that this is something that I do on my phone. So if you go to the internet and you can just pull pictures, save pictures of things that mean to you, kind of like a vision board, basically same thing as why, and then put them in Pick Stitch and then save that as an image, and you can make that your background. And so I've had mine for months, but it'll just a little snippet.
So
you
things that you want to
put
put all together.
right?
Yeah.
Like vacation spots, choose joy, do it with passion, financial freedom.
Love
like
that.
things that you want.
See, she used a technological term that I don't know. Pick Stitch. Probably everybody knows about Pick Stitch. I don't know about Pick Stitch. You can teach a class on Pick Stitch.
Yeah, there you go.
Brandy, we'll have you teach a class on Pick Stitch. Okay. So they're going to give you 15 minutes now to write the answers to these questions. What could get in the way of achieving your big why, and how you can prevent it. Actually, we're going to take 10 minutes to do that, and then we'll talk about it.
I just talk about those two questions.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, it's on the bottom of your page 22. Yes.
Can you cut that hair down a little bit?
Oh, it's blowing right on you. I'm sorry.
Oops.
Okay, it should cut off. It's like a roller coaster in here.
Venus and Mars.
Mm-hmm. Could be. Having troubles anyway, Alexander.
Like I said, 3 to 11. I woke up at 7:15 today, and that is very tough. I'm gonna have to go grab some water real quick.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Might even be some more coffee in there if you need it.
I don't want to stay out of the bathroom all day.
some of you what your answers were and your big ahas from this session of finding out what your big why is. Anybody gonna volunteer for me here?
Will we volunteer?
I'm sorry?
Will we volunteer?
We're gonna do jumping jacks. No, we're gonna do what your answers to these questions were and your big aha from this section that we just did on your big why.
I put if I start to be lazy or pretend that other things in life are more important when in reality they're not, where I could do a better job at scheduling. So in order to prevent that, I need to think about the things that I want to accomplish to make my life better, to keep me motivated.
Good answers. Very good. All right, let's hear from somebody else. John York.
Self-limiting beliefs is what will get in the way of me achieving my big why. And then how I can prevent that is just be disciplined and commit to my goal.
Very good. Good answers. Anyone else?
Just a lack of motivation and getting like feeling defeated from like the no's from all the people you talk to, and how I can prevent this. Just keep pushing myself and just realizing that I don't want to be in the situations that I am right now, worrying about not being able to buy certain things because I don't have money, or worry about making bills or whatever.
Right.
And definitely just to help my husband and get what he wants to do to be what he's at. And I need to do this.
So what would your big ahas from this be?
Ahas? When you know ahas, what do you mean? Like just
What have we learned in here that's going to keep you on track?
I can do this. I mean, I was fearful, of course, that I can't do this. I can't go out there and talk to these people or whatever. But just realize that from all this stuff that I can do it. I can go out there and talk to anybody and talk to them and get their business and do this.
Exactly.
I know I can do it. So,
Deborah, would you share?
Well, I think what gets in the way for me is self-doubt. I don't come from a very supportive family in anything that I've ever done. So the thought of being successful is very scary because everybody says you'll never be anything. Oh yeah, but anyway. So in order to prevent that from happening in the future is to surround myself with people that are knowledgeable and positive and supportive.
Very good.
And it's working.
Okay. You don't come across as someone who has self-doubt.
Oh,
so I would say you've already conquered some of that. So, all right. Hayworth, share.
Big why again is financial independence.
What's going to get in the way of you achieving that big why?
Sitting right here in a green shirt.
You think?
And Keith has thrown this out a couple times. If you were your boss, how would you stand right now with them?
Would you hire yourself?
Well, not what I keep myself.
Yes.
I've already hired this slug.
Well, your boss is going to be saying, "I am so proud of Hayworth because he's going to further his career by getting these necessary tools it's going to take him to get there."
From my past career, I was on the management level and I set the example. So no one could come up and say, on the management side or safety side, that I wasn't doing. They couldn't go, well, I see you doing it, so why can't I do it? So I call it walk the walk and talk the talk. And I'm not.
You weren't a fireman, were you?
No, I was in the mining industry.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Big mining, here and overseas.
So
But,
safety was a big thing, and you were.
Yeah, very much so. But I'm not doing that. I'm not walking the walk and talking the talk.
but you will. Yes. Yes. So, Will, how about you?
What was the question?
Uh-huh.
Big why?
Well, what could get in your way of achieving that big why? And
Well,
what are you going to do to prevent it?
Primarily time management. I mean, I'm a multitask person. I'm always doing something. And I think of something else. Stop doing that. So staying focused and working better on that 80-20 and actually sticking to, the commitment to doing the things I need to do. Not very good at it.
Well, it's a hard thing to do. It really is. And that's why I really strongly urge you to get productivity coaching. Arlene is probably one of the best in the industry at showing you how to set those schedules for yourself and time block. And when you schedule your lead generation, I mentioned earlier something about protecting that time. You close the door to your office. You go ahead and have your coffee and your snacks in the room with you so you don't have to leave. The only thing you might have to leave is to go to the restroom and come back. You put a sign on your door, do not disturb. And if you walked around this market center, you see those signs. If you walk around the business center in High Point, you see those signs on the doors. Do not disturb lead generating. People are very, very adamant about protecting that time. Because if you don't do your 3 hours today, then you're going to have to do 6 tomorrow. Okay, I'm spending quite a few hours with you guys this morning. So in order to keep from having to do 6 tomorrow, I'll be going straight back to my office and doing my 3. Because if I don't, I'm just getting further and further behind. And my business right now is in a little bit of a slump, so it's really important to me. Yes?
Do you mind me asking, your 3 hours, where do you get your leads from? Is that just
from my sphere of influence, the people I already know, people I go to church with, people I've done business with. My past clients are a huge part of who I lead generate with.
So you basically call the same people over and over?
Oh, no.
No, okay.
That's why you're going to build your database constantly every day. You're going to add 10 people every day to your database. We'll get to that. Yeah, you won't be calling the same people every day. Because you, trust me. All right. This should be how you feel when you achieve that big why. And you're going to say, is it peace, joy? To get there, you're going to go to that place and you're going to say to yourself, how dare I not make lead generation calls and give up on my dream? Because if you don't, the business is not going to come to you. How's it going to come to you? Nobody knows you're even in real estate, do they? But maybe a few close friends, family members. I'm telling you, it doesn't drop from the air. All right, so now we're going to talk about your monetary goal. All right, so on page 23, I want you to look at this example. And they're saying that the average sales price for this example, the homes are $200,000 each. Okay. So your average commission rate is going to be 3%. You say, why 3? Because you're usually only going to have one side of the transaction. If the commission is 6%, then you're going to get 3. If it's 5%, you're going to get 2.5. So it's whatever the selling side or the listing side of that commission is. So at 3%, your GCI, which is your gross commission income, is $6,000. Now that $6,000 example is going to be used probably throughout Ignite. I want you to turn over to the next page. And just for the sake of the triad, probably the average sales price in the triad is $150,000. So, are we going to say a 3% commission on that? So I've either got the listing side or the selling side. So what's my GCI going to be?
4,500.
There you go. Okay. So in your book, the example talks about your GCI times 30% of your cap. And I have pointed this out because our market center is not like every other market center. Our cap is a total of $21,000. Where in your book they've written $20,000, I think, for the market center cap. Ours is $18,000. And the royalty is always going to be 3% of that. So in most other market centers, your total for paying into the market center before you can cap is $23,000. But for us, for this market center, it's $21,000. So aren't you lucky that you joined this market center? I'd say. So on page 25, your page 25, there's an example there of a net GCI goal of $100,000. And we're going to use our market center cap of $21,000. So the GCI would be A plus B. So you're going to have to earn $121,000. Are y'all with me? Following? So the average commission per transaction we saw is going to be $4,500. Right? The average sales price is $150,000. At 3%, it's going to be $4,500. So your annual transaction goal is going to be how many? About 27, I think. 26 plus something. Yeah. So let's drill that down just a little bit. 21 transactions a year to reach that net GCI goal of $100,000 plus your market center cap of $21,000. How many transactions would you have to do every month?
One and some change close to
2.25, I think. 2.25 transactions per month. That doesn't sound like much, does it? Boy, that should be really doable. That is really doable, guys. If you're sitting around here with a goal of $50,000, shame on you. Really. Because you can do so much better than that. You're going to do your lead generating, and you're going to start getting referrals this week. So you're going to be on the road to your goals, and you're going to start doing 2.25 transactions per month to get there. And if you want to do a higher goal, this is the formula you use. So turn the page down at this, because this is going to be the formula you use every single year as you change your goal. And you're going to change it every year. It's going to get higher. Okay? Right, Alexander?
No.
It's got to. This is my favorite thing right here in Ignite. That little example right there. Because it shows how easy it is to accomplish that. Now later in Ignite, I think it's later in the course, you're going to learn how many phone calls it takes to get an appointment. And how many appointments it takes to get a listing or a buyer agreement. And then how many of those turn into sales? Okay, I have a great rate. I have 100%, I sell 100% of my listings. And when I get a buyer, they don't ever get loose from me. They are my friends for life because I give great customer service. I find them what they need, and they know it the minute they walk in that house. Now, every now and then you'll get somebody that wants to see 25 houses. You are not going to want to waste your time doing that. You need to have an appointment with them and talk about their needs and desires and show them no more than 5 houses that meet that criteria. Otherwise, they're just never going to be able to make a decision. And you're going to get all that in Ignite. You're going to learn how to do all that. All right, moving on.
Can I ask a personal question?
Yes, you may.
What's your largest amount of transactions a month?
Oh gosh, the year that I capped, I probably did maybe 4 a month, maybe 5. Average for each month. If you may have one month where you have 2, but the next month you might have 6. So the average for the whole year was probably about 4 or 5. That first year I was here, honey, I knocked it dead. The next year, not so much, because I had personal things that started to interfere. But I still reached my goal. So, yes.
And when you're doing 6 a month, are you ready to pull your hair out? Or is that
Oh, heck no.
That's still manageable.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
When you get to 15 a month, that's not manageable. Probably not manageable. I know agents that do it. I know plenty of agents that do it.
Mine's 9. Yeah, mine's 9 for the first.
You can do that. Because we have so many systems that you're going to have put in place to help you. And if you get to the point where you're ready to pull your hair out, you talk to your productivity coach, you talk to Michelle, you call me, you talk to somebody to talk you off the ledge. Seriously. Yes. At that point, you may want to have somebody helping you do your contract to close. And you'll hear that a lot. And there's people out there that you can hire to help you through that. They're going to set up your appointments for your home inspections and all that stuff and give you time to do your lead generating so that you still have another 9 the next month. Okay? All righty. So, I believe on page 26 is an example of you doing your own goal. Your market center camp is 21,000. Remember that. And it tells you what to do. So I want you to put your own goal in there and arrive at how many transactions you need to do a month to reach that goal. And like I said, how dare you have a goal of $50,000? I want to see 100 or more.
I really think you're too small. You've changed my goal.
Please.
So this is our first year goal, or like
Your first year goal.
This is your first year goal, guys. This is important. Yes. What do you want to do your first year?
I know. I'm trying to do 40,000. That's what I'm trying to do.
So you're really small.
Shame.
You want me to add another 100,000?
Yes.
There we go.
150. Don't think small. Act bold. Remember Gary Keller's mantra.
Girl, that's 400. 65, you can do more than that. Come
Well,
on
I
now.
know idea. I mean, I
Also
asked the
40
question in
myself,
real
but
estate school, how many transactions per month, and I never could get a straight answer.
They don't know. They don't know what your goal is.
Yeah,
This-
it's whatever,
I mean, well-
whatever you make of it.
Well, yeah, I mean, that was the answer. It depends on the value of the house, which, I mean, duh, I know that. But my question really is, what I asked you, how many are reasonable? That's really my question.
I mean,
Don't worry about how
a
many
year, but
you
I
can handle.
Yeah.
Just get the business.
You know,
Just get the business. It will come. If you build it, they will come. So you're building the business, okay? All right. Who's got theirs finished? All right, Tim.
I just did 140. My goal wasn't that high, but
That's good. That's a nice first year goal.
And with everything, I would have to do 3 transactions a month, 36 a year. So.
How simple is that? All right, Alexander, what'd you put?
125. So it comes out to about 32 per year.
Yeah.
But,
How many a month?
32.
About a little more than what Pim's was.
Well, a little less.
Okay.
I mean, but I know what my schedule looks like, and with everything else that I have going on at all points in time, like I'm doing what's reasonable.
Okay.
And once everything, because I know that as of right now, I can't quit my other job, so I
Right.
have to work around that. So I'm going to essentially be working 70 to 90 hours a week, depending, which is something I am familiar with.
Okay. Fatini.
And this is just first year goal.
Mm-hmm. And you can change it later.
Okay, I put my first year goal just to be on the realistic side at 30.
Oh, girl.
Yeah.
Are you working another job?
I have 3 small children.
Okay, she is. She's working 3 other jobs.
3 of
I have
them.
3 small youngins.
Okay. So
I
how
would
many
say 30.
transactions is it going to take you to do your 30?
Wait a minute, is that the amount? That was about 30 transactions. I did
Oh, 30 transactions.
30 no,
So
not 30,000.
What's your monetary goal?
Well, see, I'm on a team,
What's your monetary goal?
but I didn't do it like that.
Okay, you still have to have a monetary goal. So do your monetary goal, even though you're on a team. You still know what you want to. I know you can't really use the formula.
No, I can't because it's not going to happen. Not my first year being on the team.
That's a limiting belief.
No, it's not. It's being realistic and not expecting something that's not going to happen so I can feel like a failure. It's
A
not.
limiting belief.
That's where the key is right there.
No, because
It's a limiting belief.
there's a split in that.
I know.
And so for me to tell you I'm going to do, it's going to take, hang on, and I'll tell you what it'll take for me to be at my goal that I want to be. I would have to do 80 transactions. There is no way that's going to happen.
I know a girl that's doing it in her 2nd year.
But she's not on a team.
Yes, she is.
Okay, well.
Well, you never know. You could get like a $500,000 listing, right? That
Well,
makes a
she's
lot
not
of
getting
houses.
listings. She's probably a buyer's agent, right?
Who, me?
Mm-hmm.
I am right now, yes. You have to be a buyer's agent. For the
She's
first
just
couple of
working
years.
with buyers.
So, see, I'm limited. That's what I'm saying. So, for
But
me to say
let's say you
that,
get some buyers who want $500,000 houses.
Do you also have like a referral program within your team? If you
I think
have
what y'all
somebody
don't
that has a listing,
no, they have to go to somebody else.
but you don't get the referral from it?
It's not even worth saying I get it, if that makes sense.
You gotta open up your.
It's
Do you
See, I'm on
I
team.
guess if y'all
understand
need to
that.
cut off of this, then y'all can
understand.
understand it.
I understand the team. 'Cause
Yeah.
I've been-
Yeah, so I mean, for me to say that, I mean, I'm not totally negative.
I know.
I'm not a negative person, trust me, I am not.
Okay.
But it would be crazy, and everybody else on the team, I'm seeing what they're doing, 100 calls a day, 80 calls a day, you know, and with this system that we have, the lead generation that we use, I just can't see it right now unless something else happens. Am I making more sense now?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I didn't want y'all to think, no, she just can't do it. No, it's nothing like that.
And let me just say this.
I feel like I'm
let
limited
me
with what I'm
say-
working with.
Every team is
It's
different.
different. Yes.
And I'm going to
Yes.
just put that out there.
Yes.
Hayworth, how about you?
33 a year, 2.7 a month.
That's how many transactions? What was your monetary goal? All right. Will?
Have 150 as the goal.
Okay. 150,000.
Yeah, 38 annual transactions
Okay.
and 3.16. Excuse me.
Yeah. See, he's experienced. So if you know you're going to beat it, you might want to move that monetary goal up just a hair.
Yeah.
Do you use something for lead? Do you use something for your sources? Like
Just about people I know, organizations I belong to.
but you don't use any.
I don't use any. I don't buy leads. On the phone, on the phone, on the phone. Sending out mailers, campaigns on market leader. You're going to have to learn all this when you get into your system. Our mykw.kw.com offers us ways to stay in touch with our database, which you will eventually want to get into market leader, your e-edge, and set them up on campaigns that emails go to them automatically. You don't have to do a thing. You don't lift a finger. And they'll tell you when you need to stop and make a phone call to them.
I'm in productivity coaching right now.
Okay.
And they're teaching you a lot of the callings, and they're big on farming, neighborhood, or door knocking, and all that stuff like that.
Yes.
A lot of people that are in my productivity class or whatever, they're going out there and they're door knocking. They're getting a lot of leads from that. So it's definitely.
It's been a long time since real estate brokers did that, but when I started in the business, I farmed a bunch of neighborhoods.
I haven't done that yet, but a lot of the people in the class are getting tons of leads from it. So.
And that's one of the things I'm setting up to do now. Is
2 weeks ago, they just had a presentation. Lady out of Walk Hill, South Carolina.
Right.
Did an excellent job in presenting that.
And how to do it.
Yeah, how to do it. Gave you the toolkit, gave you all the information you need.
Excellent.
There. And what I thought was surprising, she's very successful. She says she does bold every year.
Yes.
She said
And you're going to be encouraged to do bold every year. And I was so disappointed that I couldn't do it this year. But it was on Mondays, and I had Ignite to teach for one thing, and I had some other things that were already on my calendar that prevented me from doing it. So I'll be doing it in the fall of spring of next year. So that time change has really messed me up. Okay, let's move on. Skill number 2. This thing doesn't really go with this. On your page 27. So it's commitment to the daily lead generation. Now you could say that knocking on doors could be part of your lead generation time, as long as you actually talk to somebody and you ask them for something, and you're going to give them something, whether it's a little pack with notepads or pens. One of the things that I do, I have a little gift sack with my branding on it, little labels that I print, my mobile app, little thing that they can zoom in on and get. And inside I give them handmade foaming hand soap that I make with essential oils. And a brochure about myself and anything else that I might have sitting straight around the house, like seeds for the garden or whatever. So I give those to my clients when I first meet them. I always have some made up. So when I meet a new buyer, I take them that. Believe me, it forms an immediate bond. Take it to a listing presentation and give it to somebody, especially if they're looking at other agents to list their property. Make it personal. They remember me as doing something like that, and I tell them that I farm the neighborhood, or I go around the neighborhood. I don't farm the neighborhood where I live, but I do go around the neighborhood and talk to people and ask them if they know of anybody that might be wanting to move into the neighborhood, that I've just listed this great house. Do you know anybody that wants to move in over here? No, I don't know anybody right now, but I know so-and-so down the street wants to sell their house too. So when you can do that kind of legwork, it's really, really lucrative. I have not been able to physically do it yet, but I'm getting there. So I've got my little bags all made up in my spare time. So, and number 2, skill number 2, committing to that lead generation and the journey to your monetary goal. If you ran a factory, you would know how long it takes to make a widget, right? Okay? So this exercise that we did has told you how many widgets you need to sell per year to meet your monetary goal. So you would also know that if you didn't do step 1, which was producing whatever it was to make that widget, that at the end of the day, you wouldn't have any widgets, right? If you skipped a step in the process of making the widgets, by the end of the day, they would be defective or something would be wrong with your widgets. So in real estate, it's no different. You have to have time to lead generate. You have to have time for appointments. You have to have time for your agreements, meeting with listing sellers and buyers. You have to have time for your contracts. You have to have time to close. And to do from right now, day 1 for you guys, to get to a closing, they estimate it to be 90 days. I promise, if you do what you're learning, you'll be there in 45 to 60 days. You'll have your first closing in 60 days, and you'll have your pipeline full. Does that make sense? That's what you got to do. So for every day that you don't lead generate, they say 90 days later you can expect no money. Okay? And we don't want that to happen. That's why we all chose this business. On your page 28. How about somebody reading that first bullet point for me? Come on. All right.
How long on average does it take to get a buyer or seller to sign a contract for a sale or listing?
1 to 60 days or more is what the industry says. And it's written in the Ignite, but I promise you it's not going to be that long for you guys, depending on how much time you put into lead generating every day and how many appointments you go on and how many appointments you close on. Now, a lot of people think appointments are only with listers, people that are selling, that you sit down with them and sell yourself. You need to devise a way to get buyers into your office, have a sit-down conversation with them about what they're looking for, sell yourself to them, and get them to sign a buyer agency agreement with you. And the other caveat there is as long as they are qualified buyers. Will knows this. You don't go out on an appointment with a buyer unless they are qualified and have a pre-approval letter from a lender. Because you will be wasting your precious time. Now you can talk to somebody on the phone and maybe even get them into your office that's not pre-qualified, but you're going to help them get with a lender so they can get pre-qualified right away, and then you can get them back in your car. Okay? Don't take them out unless they're pre-qualified. Okay, somebody read bullet point 2. John?
How long does it take for a transaction to close and for you to get paid?
Okay. Depending on the market, 30 to 60 days. I'm going to say 40 to 60. Because most of the time, once you get a contract on a house, a sale, and they get with their lender, it's going to take that lender, what, 45 days, Will?
45, yeah.
About 45 days to get it to close. So guys, you're probably looking at, if you were to get your first sale today, 45 days before you get paid.
If you can do this, I recommend trying to inform whatever buyer you have, if you are doing a buyer's agent thing, of all the things they'll need to give to the mortgage company and everything else, the W-2s, all that.
Yes.
Because I did all that for the house that I bought, actually with one of the agents that's on that board. And I had everything I needed on the first 2 days, and I closed in 31 days.
Right. So as long as they can confirm and verify your employment and your income, even though you provide that, they still go to your employer and ask for that information. And if your employer is prompt about getting back, then you could do it that quickly. And it depends on the lender too. Now, we have an in-house lender, Movement Mortgage here. They do a great job of pre-approving everybody and doing a lot of the legwork up front before they even get to the contract. So they've got their people ready to shoot, almost shoot straight to underwriting as soon as you get them under contract. So they're a great lender to work with. Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm. Somebody read bullet point 3 for me.
How quickly do you want to get paid, or how long can you go without a payday?
Somebody answer that for me. We don't want to go a day without a payday, right? We may be forced to go a day or so without a payday right now, but we're really going to do what we have to do to get to that first payday. Bullet point 4. What will it take for you to get paid so you can begin to fund your big why? Lead gen. You're going to communicate with people about real estate every day. Like I said, you're going to go into the bank. You're going to go into the grocery store. You're going to go to your fast food place, and you're just going to chat with people in line. You know, hey, how you doing today? Oh, you work for K&W Cafeteria? I work for Keller Williams Realty. I sell real estate. You know of anybody that's thinking about buying or selling? I do the best job in town. So you have a friend that's wanting to sell, really? God, how about that? Would you mind giving me their name and phone number, and I'll give them a call? That's what you do, guys. Now, it doesn't happen every time you go in to the bank. But if you keep going into the bank, the tellers are going to remember you. And when they hear of somebody, they're going to, hey, I got somebody for you. So you lead generate. You practice scripts. We're going to get to scripts. You commit to go on a lot of appointments. Okay? Because you're going to be doing enough lead generating that you're going to get enough appointments, and you're going to have to go on those appointments. Okay? So on page 29 is the lead generation funnel. Would somebody read the first little business up there for me? Will, read that first 2 paragraphs there.
Your lead generation funnel must be filled with leads, people who have a real estate need now or in the near future. Lots of leads. The countdown to your payday starts when a lead becomes an appointment with a buyer or seller, then an agreement to work exclusively for you. Next comes a contract and negotiation of an offer on their behalf. Finally, you service the entire transaction through to a successful closing and receive your commission. It's payday.
Woo-hoo! So the point of that funnel is to show you that you've got to have a lot of leads at the top that are going to gradually go down, but you keep filling it up with leads. You keep filling that funnel up. The purpose of Ignite, each session of Ignite, is for you to learn to prospect for leads. I mean, this is the focus of what we're doing here. So you're going to get sick of hearing the term, but you're going to do it, and you're going to learn to love it. Okay, so on your page 30, in every session of Ignite, you're going to be making phone calls for business. So I hope you all have plenty of contacts in your phones that you can scroll through and find somebody that you don't mind talking to today and asking them for business. And we'll learn a script before you do that so that you'll be ready. This means you're going to need names and contact information every day for calling in your class. So on the next sessions of Ignite, remember to come prepared with your list that you want to call. I would advise writing those down on a piece of paper and maybe put some little columns up. Arlene has little forms that you can use. So when you get into productivity, you have a form and it has little check places for talked to, didn't talk to, got an appointment, what kind of appointment, things like that. Remember, calling for leads is the single most important step in building your business. And you'd be cheating yourself and your family if you were not prepared to make these calls every day in class. Okay? Would somebody read the formula on your page 30? John?
Why can some agents make 100 calls a day and others fear the phone? Because successful agents follow a simple formula. 1. Leverage powerful scripts. 2. Build the relationship. 3. Ask for the business. 4. Ask for referrals. 5. Come from contributions.
Yeah. Okay, it all goes back to that mindset thing. You're in the business of helping people one way or another. You're going to help them find a house. You're going to help them sell their house. And if you're lead generating, I think it's getting warm in here again. Let me turn this down. Uh-oh.
What is it on?
Well, it's on nothing now. Okay, it was on 74. Okay, it's down. It'll go down. So you're going to leverage those powerful scripts that we're going to learn. You're going to build relationships with the people that you're talking to. You're going to ask for the business. Don't forget to ask for the business. You can't just say, "Hi, Jane. I just wanted to let you know that I'm in real estate. I'm with Keller Williams Realty now. Hope you have a nice day. I wanted to let you know. Hope you have a nice day. Jane, I'm with Keller Williams Realty now, and I thought I'd better let you know, but because I know you meet lots of people every day in your line of work that might be thinking about buying or selling a house, and I really would like for you to think about me when you hear of somebody, because I know that you can help me grow my business." So I've asked for the business without asking for the business, in a way. And come from contribution. That's hard to come up with all the time, but you're going to learn it in your scripts. So when I door knock, I always give them something. And if you go, let's say you go see it for sale by owner. There's a form that everyone who sells a house in North Carolina has to have. Will, what is it?
What's that?
The form that everybody who sells a home in North Carolina has to have and provide to buyers. The residential, residential whatever disclosure. I can't ever say it because they made it too long. It's the residential property disclosure. That's what I call it. And now they have the mineral, oil, and gas, the MOG. So if you see it for sale by owner, one way to get in the door with them is to have that form, have those forms, knock on the door, and say, "Mr. Seller, I see you have your house for sale. And I don't know if you realize or not, but you need these forms to provide to everyone who looks at your house. And once you get a buyer, they have to sign these forms. And I just thought I'd drop these off for you. And while I'm here, would you mind if I take a look? I might have some buyers that would be interested in your property." "Oh, no, come on in." So now you're in the door. And you're going to have scripts ready to flow out of your mouth so that you can get a listing appointment with them. Let's say the wife answers the door and you ask, well, is your husband, are y'all selling this together? Who's the decision maker? Is it in his name or is it in both your names? Is it going to take both of you? So you want to meet with both the couple, whoever the couple is. You want to meet with both of them. Okay? So there's questions that you'll learn to ask in a better way than I just did. That you're going to start forming a relationship with this person because you're asking them about themselves. You're going to get to know them. All right. So let's go on to page 31. And there's 4 powerful habits that you're going to form along with your daily lead generation. So has anybody heard of this before? We need to take a break, don't we? Let's take a break before we do this. 5 minutes. Woo! Yes. Okay, the 4 powerful habits and activities that you want to adopt starting today to grow and manage your database. You want to add 10, it's called the Daily 10-4, by the way. So you want to add 10 new contacts into your contact database every day. So starting out, that should be pretty easy for you, right? Because you may not have a database, but you know a lot of people. My church has a directory. Boy, I started it. I put every one of those people in my database. I go to Rotary. I'm a Rotarian. I got a directory. Boy, every one of those people went into my database. So already I'm pushing 200 or 300, maybe more, 400, something like that. All the attorneys in town. My husband was an attorney. He knew them all. So I already had relationships with them. Put them all in my database. All the dentists, doctors. I mean, they're in the phone book. They may be people you don't know, but you can still form a relationship with them. If you got a dentist, for instance, and you're talking to somebody at the front desk, I really would like to build a vendor network for my buyers when they buy a new home and they're from out of town. I want to be able to refer them to a dentist that they can use. I want to be able to refer them to an attorney that they might want to use, the dry cleaners. I mean, guys, it's out there for you. And you just have to be imaginative with how you approach those leads. You're coming from contribution there, right? So then go by their office and leave some business cards. The next day, do that. And tell them, I spoke to you on the phone yesterday and I just wanted to give you some business cards. If you think of anybody that's thinking about buying or selling, or somebody's coming in and says they're moving or changing their address or something, you know, all kind of ways. Okay, so you're going to add 10 new contacts every day. You're going to prospect. Now, what do we mean by prospecting?
Go out and brush the rocks.
Hmm?
Go out and brush the rocks.
Yeah.
You can talk to them and get their information, or at least their phone number or email or something.
So you're prospecting for those people that you're adding to your database. And you speak with 10 people every day. You're going to follow up. You're going to write 10 personal notes. So that means you have to get mailing addresses. Yes?
Okay, so many of my contacts are just straight up Facebook.
Okay.
And I don't have numbers or addresses.
Okay. Message.
From all of the United States.
Can you message them?
All over the world.
You can call them.
You can message them. You can call.
call them on Facebook, so Facebook now you can call them.
I still don't have, it's gonna give me their number?
Yeah, don't call them.
Because
Because
Yeah,
it's like
it calls
everyone
them.
has
It calls
Messenger on their phone, it calls their phone.
And you can either call them this way, I mean, it'll
But
either
it'll
call
show
just
their
like
number,
a
so then I've got,
normal.
It might not show their cell phone number, it's a Facebook to Facebook thing. Or you can always just ask.
But you can't call them.
you
You
can,
can send
you
them
can
a
ask,
private message and say,
ask
hey,
for
can I
their
get your phone
number.
number so I can call you?
That's what I do, I message. People that start messaging me a lot,
I use,
I say, listen, how about giving me your phone number? I'd rather text.
Yep.
I text more than I message. So I get the phone number that way.
she's jumped all over my site.
Call you right there.
Okay.
And then it'll tell you that you missed, you know, if you don't answer whatever that you missed. And it's a good way to say, hey, I was thinking about you, blah, blah, blah. Then you can just start your messaging thread there.
You'll get some tech courses along the way. Keller Williams offers how to do business on Facebook and lots of other technologies. You'll learn to go to those classes so that you won't be behind like me. I'm learning. Okay. All right. You're going to follow up with 10 handwritten notes. And so you've got to get their mailing address. So you're going to get mailing addresses, and then you're going to know your market. And by knowing your market, you're going to, once you get with the Board of Realtors and get access to MLS, you can preview online 10 new homes a day. You can put in whatever criteria you would like. And then each week you want to visit 10 homes. Pick out one from each day that you're looking at that you'd like to visit, and then go preview them.
This is not open houses, right?
No.
This is preview.
Preview. Yeah, you can go preview a house. They don't have to know that you don't have a client right now.
On 3,
Yes.
I haven't written 10 personal notes in my life.
You're about to.
You're about to.
But
But, no buts. There's no
I'm
buts.
just,
But is a negative term, and we have no buts. There's no buts.
Keller Williams has little note cards. You do Keller Williams note cards. People look in.
All right, let me just say, okay, Facebook is a great way of learning who has a birthday today.
mhm.
I would just, you can send them a message. I would possibly allow that. I mentioned that I was in Rotary Club. Okay, we have a directory, and it tells us who has a birthday that month. We also have everyone's address. So every month, I write a handwritten, I don't buy a birthday card, but I just do a handwritten note to everyone who has a birthday that month. That's one of my one-day activities. So people that I've spoken to, people that have sent me business, or just random. Gosh, Daryl, I was thinking about you today, and you sent me that client 3 months ago, and I don't think I ever thanked you for it. I just want to let you know how important that was to me. Be creative. Ask some of the other people what they're doing, how they're getting those people to send notes to. And in this technology, it is harder to get mailing addresses, but maybe you have a church directory. Our church has a directory of its members. So I'll just pick out people that I'm thinking about and send them a note. And then when I see them face to face, or I call them and ask for a lead or ask for some business, I'm at their top of their mind because I've sent a handwritten note. You don't have important that. How many of you get handwritten notes from people? But when you do, isn't it the first thing you open? The very first thing you open. I've got a little gal, a friend of mine that I went to high school with, and she has these pretty little monogram things. And when I get some of her stuff in the mail, it's the very first thing I open. I want to see what she has to say. And she's not even in business. She sends stuff out all the time. I just think that's so nice. people are going to remember those no's. So you're going to know your market. So you're going to do the daily 10-4. And who can recite to me what that 10-4 is? Because I want y'all to remember it. Elizabeth?
10 new contacts, 10 phone calls, 10 speak to them,
Speak to them.
10 notes, and then follow up.
Well, preview houses.
Preview houses, sorry.
Preview 10 a day online. And visit 10 a week. Now, you could choose Sunday and choose a bunch of open houses and just go to open houses. That'd be fine. As long as you're going in those houses. There's no way that you can have experience in the market and know what's out there for your buyers unless you do this. You will be absolutely clueless. But if you do this, then when somebody calls you and says, I'm looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house in such and such neighborhood. Oh gosh, I just saw that house. I know there's a house just like that for sale there now. I saw it online. Let me look it up and I'll call you right back. So you go to MLS, you get the information, you call them up. You say, gosh, you're going to love this house. It's everything you want. When can we go see it? How about this afternoon at 3? Don't wait till tomorrow if you can do it today. So you know the market. And I promise you, you will learn that market. In 1986, we didn't have internet. MLS wasn't even something that we could look at on the screen. It was a black and white book printed. It was the most boring thing you've ever. You remember that? Oh my God, it was horrible, and it was thick. It was just nearly impossible to find people a house. But you did. You poured through that book, and you became familiar with it. And I had little index cards of people that were looking in this price range, people that were looking in this price range, people that were looking in this price range. And when I was pouring through the book, I said, oh, here's one in that price range. Let me call and see if it fits their, that's what we had to do back then. But now it's so much easier. I mean, have really got it easy. And I was making way more back then than I'm making now. But I'm doing other things. I'm scuba diving, I'm teaching at night. Okay, so on page 32, you're page 32. This is just a review of what we just talked about. Y'all just read that. But it's just so important to do that daily 10-4 and remember what that stands for. Okay? You're going to hear it over and over through Ignite, through this market center. You'll hear people saying, oh, I was busy doing my 10-4. No. So you'll know what that means. You want to also track your success when you lead generate. So on page 33, let's skip on over to 33. You've learned the 6 personal perspectives and about being accountable. And I showed you how to use my tracker on mykw.com. So use that to start entering your information. My tracker. You enter your leads. You enter how many people you spoke to on the phone. Enter how many appointments. And it gives you a report card of your success. And Kelly's going to go over that with you guys who are not set up tomorrow at 10. Okay. So let's go on to, we're not going to be able to try it now, so we're going to skip on over to page 35. And this is skill number 3, using the influencing sales language. So who wants to read that first little bit of stuff that's in parentheses, in quotation marks up there for me? John, over here.
Did you find everything you were looking for? Go ahead and look around. Please let me know if I can help you. Is you admiring that large screen TV? Are you looking to have one in your home for the big game this weekend?
Okay. That's influencing sales language that you get every day if you shop Walmart or any of the big box stores, not Lowe's so much, but Best Buy maybe. You know, people are going to be trying to help you find what you're looking for, and they are using sales language. If you walk into a used car lot or a new car lot, you're going to be hounded by somebody that's wanting to sell you a car. But we're not going to hound people. We are going from contribution. So your scripts are going to be designed that way. So since we're first in the business of lead generating, what are we really saying to people about our job? There's a little thing there for you to fill in. See if you can figure out what we're really saying to people about what we do, what our job is.
I have no idea what this says, but I can try and guess.
Okay, Brandon?
We're just trying to make sure you understand what you're looking for.
Okay, I want you to fill in the blanks to that little sentence there.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were
That's
asking
okay.
out loud.
Blank about their need, their blank needs, and the needs of blank. Anybody got a guess? Elizabeth?
You're asking them about their real estate needs and the needs of others that they know.
Exactly. You are talking to people about their real estate needs and the needs of people they know. So there are two ways to do this, and we're going to eat that P. We're going to go from E to P. And if you just remember that conversation where I was talking to somebody and I didn't ask for the business, I was just saying, how you doing? Which one of those do you think that is, E or P? E. That's entrepreneurial. I'm just chatting them up for the business. Just chatting, just not even for the business. So P would be knowing exactly who I'm going to talk to, how much time I'm going to take talking to them so I can get on to the next person I need to talk to, and being prepared to have great conversations that lead to providing value in exchange for them helping me grow my business. So that's a purposeful conversation. So which one do you want to use? E or P? P. Always P. All right. 36. Your page, 36. I went through the whole manual, so I know what page I were on because my pages are totally different. And I circled them. I did this last night about 10:30. Scripts are cool. I see you're really good. They are. Scripts are really cool. The challenge with learning scripts is that it requires you or us to change some of our beliefs, our actions, and most significantly, our words. The but word is not in our conversation. The if word is not in our conversation. The not word, the no word, they are not in our conversation. So, it's very important to think purposefully using the P about what we say in our exchange with other people to get the results we want. Now, the purpose of scripts is to lead the conversation into you getting the information you want by using certain sentences, language, words. Does that make sense? So if you're just entrepreneurial and you're just chatting people up and you don't have a script, you're not going to get anything. You're going to say, it was nice talking to you, bye. So, scripts are a big way of moving from the E to the P. And all top agents use scripts. They have learned these scripts so that they are a part of their language when they're dealing with clients. It comes natural. And it's going to come natural for you. Okay, I'm going to show you this video now that they've been promising I was going to show. All right.
I'm going to tell you the top 5 things that you need to know about using scripts. Step 1, you're going to need to get your scripts from a top agent in the office, your team leader, a maths coach, or of course Keller Williams University. Step 2, we're going to need to do a total transformation of, instead of talking and telling, of asking questions. Selling isn't telling, selling is asking a series of questions that leads to desired response. So instead of talking so much, we need to get in the habit of asking questions. And asking questions gives us control of the conversation. Control of the conversation gives us our ultimate outcome, which is an appointment set or closing. Step 3, we need to listen with good intentions. Well, what I mean by that is we need to listen to their answers instead of just listening to them talk and asking another question that comes to mind. For example, instead of asking a seller where they're moving to and then going on to the next question, how soon would you like to be there, ask them, where are you moving to? And when they give you a response, ask them, what takes you there? Step 4 in becoming better at scripts is we need to learn to mimic, mirror, and match the prospect. What I mean by that is we have to listen to their tone of voice. We have to speed up or slow down based on how fast the prospect is talking. That means when they respond and say, we're moving to Toledo, oh, Toledo, that's exciting. What takes you there? 93% of communication is body language and tonality. And that means only 7% are the words that we say or the questions that we ask. Step 5, we need to take these 5 points and practice them daily. If you think of NFL teams, they practice 50, 60 hours on the practice field for a 1-hour game. Our game is our presentations and our appointments, and we need to practice daily everything that we've learned every single day before we meet with our clients. When it comes to scripts, my biggest aha is that everybody has their own scripts. We're pre-programmed to have scripts, and we're talking and asking questions that are scripted. However, what we found is that most of our own scripts are no good. And so we have to learn the right scripts, the right questions, to maintain control of the conversation. Thanks for watching KW Connect. Make it a great day.
All right. Do we have any ahas from that?
That's pretty good.
It is. It's very eye-opening, isn't it? Any ahas? I mean, like,
Just that you need to keep practicing every day, all the time.
yes, practice scripts every day. Okay, practice with your accountability partner. Whoever you decide is going to be your accountability partner, whether it's somebody in this room or an experienced agent in the market center, which is always a good idea, they're going to understand that you need to practice scripts, and they're going to be more than happy to help you do it. And there's also, I think, a script class here. Look on your calendar on Tuesdays. So you can come in to a group and practice scripts together. And I really, really encourage you to do that. Some of the scripts that I had internalized when I first started in the business in 1986 were not right. They weren't really getting me the results that I needed. So when I came to Keller Williams, I had a partner and we practiced scripts. And my scripts are different now. And I'm able to get the information that I want when I'm talking to somebody. And it's listening. You ask questions. And the reason you ask questions is because you want information from them. You want to learn what their needs are. But you also want to personalize it. When they say they're moving to Toledo, well, what takes you there? So they know you're interested. Okay? Any more ahas?
Well, kind of what you just said, not just using questions to show you're interested, but to sort of guide the conversation.
Absolutely.
That was
Yes.
a big aha.
They think you're interested, and you are, but you're also guiding that conversation to the point that you need it to be to get the listing. All right? You might even be able to refer them to a Keller Williams agent in Toledo and get a referral fee. So keep that in mind. All right. You have a script book in the back of your big books. And those of you who didn't get a book probably don't have scripts. You have scripts in the back of what she copied for you. Let me see if she copied scripts. No, I don't think so. Okay. I'm not sure how you guys are going to practice scripts. Let me go speak to Kayla just 1 minute and see if they have any extra script books laying around. If I add any more benefits of scripts.
Is that on a certain page? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry, it's page 38 in your book.
38. We're still okay.
Yeah. They lead the conversation, don't they, into getting the response you want. What else?
They'll make you seem more knowledgeable.
That's a good one, yes.
It gives you a chance to practice. I mean, if you already know what to say, you can practice your. I'm in Toastmasters, and one of the things that we do is practice vocal variety, body gestures.
Yes.
So it's not just about the words; it's how you
Exactly.
present yourself.
And he talked about body language in the video. So body language, you do need to mix it and match it to match the person that you're talking to. If the person you're talking to is very quiet and reserved, sort of, they're not using their hands a lot, then I don't want to go in there and use my hands and arms a lot because it's going to throw them off. So I'm going to try and keep my arms and hands to myself, but I'm going to use the tonality of my voice to convey what I need to convey to them, match their tonality. And he said, if they're talking fast, by golly, you better talk fast too. If they're talking real slow, well, you're going to match that to that southern drawl and talk slow too. Because that's what they're used to hearing. That's what they understand. So there's a mindset for using scripts. And I know there's some limiting beliefs in here involving using scripts. So what are some of your limiting beliefs? I know you got them.
Come across like a car salesman.
Okay. Sound like a robot.
You feel like they know what you're doing, which makes it unnatural.
Yes. Okay. So let me just put this out there. Let's say you were an actor or actress on Broadway. You've got a script. And the point of that script is to make the audience believe you're that person. Okay? So that actress has practiced and practiced and practiced until that script comes out as naturally as if they were that person. It just comes out that way. So by you practicing these scripts, you're going to learn to internalize the language. And when you use the scripts, you may change some of the words a little bit, and that's okay. But not much of it. You want to make it sound like you and you can do that, practicing the scripts daily. What are 3 negative consequences for failing to use scripts or learn scripts? And you said those already. Sounding unnatural, sounding like a used car salesman, sounding like a robot.
I just had a conversation with a friend of mine this weekend, and I sound just scared to death. I mean, she said, because she's new to the area, well, I might have needs in the future. And I was like, oh, well, maybe I can help you with that.
Because you didn't know what to say.
Yeah, I was terrified. Because I didn't know what to say.
Exactly. That's a very good point, Elizabeth. If you don't practice these scripts, you're not going to know what to say. When they have a question or when they say they want to list their house, you're going, you got a buyer and he says, oh, I really need to buy. I need to be in a house within 4 weeks. So you need to know your scripts. Practice them every single day. They're going to become your language, Brandon. It'll be coming from you. I promise. Okay? So, because of scripts, this is a mindset for you. This is something you should write down. It's on the bottom of your page 38. Because of scripts, I sell more houses and I earn more income. Highlight that. Okay. So we're going to practice some scripts now. And so some of you are going to have to get up and move around. John Barty, am I saying that right?
Yes.
If you don't mind, you can share with John York because he's got a book. You two have a book. Would you guys mind coming over here and sitting at this table and turn around and get with him and Deborah? You can just turn these chairs around. Okay. Let them just share. They're just
You don't have to get up and move.
Gee, aren't y'all smart? You are so smart. Look at you. Okay. Do both of y'all, are you good? Okay, so y'all good? You need to get with somebody, right?
Unless it's in this packet.
It's not. So I'm going to let you get with Hayward and Will. The 3 of y'all can practice together, okay? So we're going to spend 15 minutes doing this. One of the things, guys, when you're getting with your script partners or accountability partners, and you're running through scripts somewhere else or whatever, record them.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Record them.
Before waking up at night and having something in my head or in my mind, I've got to get up and do it. I could record it and then play it back the next morning.
Exactly.
You were asleep.
But if you'll record the scripts that you're reciting, you're going to see where you need to work. I used to do some little theater, and I would record my scripts, and it would show me what I needed to change to be more believable in that script, in that person. Okay, so on page 40, there are 6 steps to memorize in learning scripts. Would someone read those 6 little steps for me? Deborah.
Read the first sentence of the script out loud 5 times.
Then just go on to the next one.
Repeat the same sentence 5 times with a huge smile on your face. Read the second line of the script out loud 10 times while smiling. Say, now for the hard part, put your script down. From memory, recite the first 2 sentences out loud 10 times with a big smile. If you make a mistake, start over from the beginning. Say, continue adding 1 sentence at a time or repeating 10 times. Anytime you make a mistake, go back to the beginning. Say entire script as fast as you can, 5 times in a row. Your chances of stumbling when reading the scripts at a normal pace after you've practiced and chanted them is very small.
Okay. Doesn't that sound like elementary school? It does, doesn't it? Kind of like elementary school. But it works. How did you memorize the ABCs when you were little? You practiced. You sang the song. How did you memorize the multiplication tables? You practiced. You used flashcards. Your mother or your dad helped you. But you memorized, basically. Unless you're real mathematical and you somewhere in your brain can see all that.
So I used to study in college, so I would write instead of say it out loud.
You write it 10 times?
Maybe not 10, but.
Well, yeah, and how many elementary school teachers made you go to the blackboard and write something 10 times, okay? 10 times is the magic number, okay?
I will not sleep in class.
I will not talk in class. I will not talk in class. Okay, so those 6 steps and the magic number of 10 and 5, okay? Now today you're probably we're not gonna practice like that, but we may a little bit. So on page 41, it's your turn to get comfortable with scripts, and we've got your partners here. Now I want you to look at the scripts and pick out the script that best suits you. So there's one for the new real estate agent. There's one for new to Keller Williams. And they have the rest of the script on the second half of the page. There's one that's reminding them you're in real estate. And there's new to the area. Okay? So pick out which one of those scripts suits you the most, and you're going to practice it. And practice with your partner. All right. Get set, go. We've got 15 minutes, and then we'll take a break. Oh, okay. Okay. She's going to practice. You got it.
I think she said just reading it right now. Which one are y'all doing?
The first one says.
The first one, new real estate.
Hello, this is Ferguson. We have a month.
But this partnership,
I'd like to share the exciting news about real estate agents
about sharing this with you.
This new partnership all their knowledge
You can see what's
plus
going
my
on.
clients get all I thought about sharing this with you because I knew you would be someone to help me run my business.
And if I ask them,
First, I want to share a real estate background. You can see what's going on anywhere, any street, any place. It's free. I can send you text so
Let me try to bring you out.
I like
And
I'd like to ask her. I'd like to know that I work with the neighborhood.
But I mean, you will have you.
I'm gonna go through all this.
I think anyone right now. Thanks for taking a moment.
It's like I have no idea.
yeah.
Girl, just let me tell you what's going on. It's just the people that's going on. So you're gonna have like
I do hear of someone who's a real estate agent.
I wouldn't
Keep me in mind.
Yes. Is this one of some things that people like, like, oh, this is a partnership? What? With this new partnership, is there something that you want to leave out?
Yeah, you're
Okay, here we go. Okay. Yeah, but just okay, so like on that, okay. So I guess that question can we do something scripts? Let's just like this, okay?
okay, well, you're in a partnership.
You are in a partnership. Try to reword it more so it's more like so we're not doing word for word.
I know it's been a while, and I would say,
my new I guess what I'm asking if we leave it sounds like ruin the whole script.
I want to share with you that.
Okay.
And that's why you need to try
To help 12 families
And tailor it to your staff.
And once you got it, if a word comes out of
Right, fine.
it may be fun as long as it's
But y'all really want us to practice scripts as
share my real estate app. Like, I've got so much going on. Like, I'm on the street with another town, you know, they say, I'm sorry, yeah, you can do part, I can say part of the time. This is what I'm doing. And I also want you guys to sorry, I just want to make sure yeah, this is nice. I'll do this investing. We think of somebody and do we make sure, thinking about that. I love most interesting and timely questions about real estate market. And I make sure I have your current email address.
Yeah, and I can share that.
And to me, if you do script someone that's similar to real estate,
yeah, that's how
so try it out.
That's how it's going to go. It's not going to go words
Awesome.
or
Yeah,
just
thank
like
you so much
that.
for your time
Because
and
somebody's going to
help.
yeah.
That's
And then you may have to explain that to them, and then they're going to say, can I share that after? Or you can say,
No,
I had to start over. So this is my, this guy, so this is starting over. So you haven't even used it. I haven't even
I was awesome.
And as you already know, I'll do
Okay.
You can see what's going on anywhere from the streets and places we don't park. It's free. There's no cost.
Hey, Fontaine. How are you?
And I also like
No, I'm gonna work on my note. I'm gonna work on the people that I have. Because those are the people you're gonna be Have you got a moment? Yeah, sure. Good. Well, I've got some exciting news, and I really wanted to tell you about it. So I've become a real estate agent. I yeah. And the new partnership that I formed with them, I have all their house for me to help because everyone.
Are y'all practicing?
Because my clients get their all the information for work documents.
Make sure I
So I thought about sharing with you because I knew that you there was someone that was having their businesses. I need to take your calendar now.
And do me a favor, please. If you hear this from someone.
Well, that's okay. Really, that person work with, is that your home or do they work with buyers? They work They're always like, call. That's good. That's good. You never know when that's going to happen. So when I called, she'll find that I had signed everything you guys have I
Yeah, I kind of figured a lot of people don't know exactly what it is.
And I was like, yeah, she knows.
Specifically, my
Great talking to you.
and you really have to kind of contact with.
Well, hey girl, you know, people like to and I forgot all about it.
Unless they're in the process of buying or selling a house, it's not required.
Well, I never saw it, but, you know, I know.
Yeah, if they're not in
I said, well, girl, you can't have all the business in Triad. You need to share a little.
So, that's what I would do.
Yeah, that's
If you've got her email address, she won't be giving us contact. So, banker,
It's connected to pretty much the entire country.
that's all the more reason.
She would want to, she not want you to be successful in your career. Well, no, I feel you. Yeah, there's success. She has very tough. You're right.
Oh, that's all the more reason.
Well, and that's what I mean.
I'm not like that. Why would I do that?
Well, no, I was
Because
because you can't. And I have a lot of great people. Right now that they know that I'm in there. Oh, you know, so special. She starts to solve the dreams. Right, she does. But that doesn't mean I do. Because you guys know me, you know the type of customer service that I get. So if she can't help you that one time, then you're fine. Right. And I've had several of them. You know, never with my business card. I need some commercial to do. Right. You know, I don't. That's why I can refer you. So that it happens. It does happen. You feel that all the time. It doesn't matter that you're not, you know what I mean? But I'm still saying that is very special. Well, does she have an app? Does she can get money?
Well, yeah, just when you get somebody like that, if it's a really sincere way, you don't want to see them anymore.
Why does someone have every day?
And go on to the next call. Well, that's fine. Well, if you have anything,
So keep practicing script.
Yeah. Okay.
Keep practicing.
Now, sure, so pretty much, yes. It is. I do.
Realizing that a lot of that comes from the general population know what they need to know how to.
Really? That's awesome.
All their knowledge work. Plus my clients, they all have hard work. Yes, I know.
I was just saying, you were talking to somebody.
Yeah, that's a possibility. Not at the moment, I don't. Do you?
We got 5 more minutes. I'm sure we're trying to practice. All right. Are y'all still practicing? Because you're going to make a phone call and see if you gotta sound that out.
Okay, well,
But you get so many they're not in order that you can
Basically, yeah,
You just need to
make it longer.
Make it a little bit longer so your conversation carries on a little bit longer. Because you know, practice the script, but you never know what they're going to say. Trying to take you may be on paragraph 2 and they take you to paragraph 1.
Or they may say, I'm so glad to hear you're in real estate. My next door neighbor is moving, and they want to sell their house.
Okay, great.
Really? Do you have their name, their phone number?
You can get their name and number, and I'll give them a call. You get, you're gonna get those kinds of calls if you keep making that house.
I always I'm telling you, really. We're giving her a great home. She's not a station. I didn't
You can make those balls.
And it's like you
That's why you need a lead generator. That's here.
I don't want to
The more you sell real estate, those clients are doing next year. So you
know what it will be. As long as we can stand up your world, you were going to do it.
Yeah, I think that's right.
And that you got to know those clients. You know, are they going to claim those clients for 5 years?
Did they push you kind of come here?
I was the shelter. They have coffee and actually come to their housewarming party. I would call them and ask them for
As long as somebody is
If you mention it once, it's gone.
And
they really do
as long as they're not understanding it,
if they're not under contract with another agent, they're creative.
So if somebody has a homemaker sign up in their front yard, you don't need to go talk to them.
Yes, absolutely. That's probably why, that's an ethical thing that works really well, not
Because I talked to some seniors about talking to the lady that we used to bring on. She actually gave me a lot of money for yard work, so I kind of started out.
Talking about yard work, maybe,
Right,
don't.
unless she
You said that's right.
And I said, I'm gonna tell her what you do.
And you said that's great, she's a great agent.
and
That's like
Change the conversation. I had that happen. Because they mentioned to that agent, that you talk to them about real estate, they're gonna call your brokerage charge today.
Really?
I had that happen. Okay, we're talking about speech. Also,
that's where your one-time business.
anytime another agent sells a listing and their buyer moves into that house, you have that buyer's name and address. And what are you gonna do? You're gonna start sending them mailings because they're what we call ordinance now. Because their agent is probably not old enough to do it, but you're gonna be yours.
Because it's not
And every single person that I have ever had a house sold to,
I gotta go.
just wound up coming back to me, not their operation. Because I provided good customer service throughout. It was never a question that they had in their other agent, but I didn't know you were more than my other agent. And so they knew it was coming from me, so that's good customer service. Second, I was pleasantly closing. I provided them everything they needed to know about the house, full package information with warranties for right here's what we're going to tell them. And there's so many little things that you can do. And then you continue that relationship. Because I guarantee you, their agent,
Everybody knows.
Yeah, how do we learn all that? She shares how it does.
you'll learn it through at night and through other courses that you get involved. That's one of the things I learned from this class.
You can't take it.
Yeah, because like we're fire, strictly fire. And, ignite and a lot of other things that are something like, real estate, it's all about this office there. You can't pass. Well, I mean, I can allow.
Do you get referrals through your team for listening?
I can do a little bit of both. I mean, if I'm if my client is very adamant about Steve being on that line and being their listing agent, then I'm allowed to do that. Any other ones that just come through whatever, then I get a referral.
It's a pretty sick pin. A friend
As buyer's agents, some of this may not apply to you.
Yeah,
So, just, as long as you're just a buyer's agent.
But if you are, your sphere, and if it's a listing, then it's a listing. I
don't plan on being on my team for long, so I'm not gonna say that right now. I don't plan on marrying her forever, but for me, that's the part of it. I don't know anything.
Exactly. So, yeah. It is a good buyer.
And
Okay, guys, we're gonna take a 5-minute break. 5 minutes, and then you're gonna come back in here and make some phone calls. Phone calls, all right?
How do you get the app personalized to you?
And you can update from me from emails and everything. Cool. Thanks, Travis. Yes, I'll look into it. Let me know when you get a free time, and let me know. Okay. Okay.
Hey, Jerry Cooper, it's Deb Saintsing. I haven't talked to you in a long time. I have someone that's going to be calling you possibly for some work, Elaine Cameron. I think you met her or you went to their house down in Randleman. It's the old schoolhouse. Anyway, be looking for a call.
Okay, well, just
talk to you later.
Let me see what's on the schedule. I'll figure out a day that I'm not working or in class or whatever, and then I'll get back with you and see maybe we can do a lunch one day. Is that good? Awesome. Thanks, Travis. I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Hey, Alana, it's Deborah Davis. I hadn't talked to you in a while, and I just wanted to call and let you know that I did pass my real estate exam. Yeah, I know we had talked about that for a while. And I am with Keller Williams Realty out in Kernersville. So, I hate that I'm not going to get to chit chat with you right now, but I'll call you back later. You can call me at 336-416-1168. I'll have to chat. Thanks. Bye.
This is Hayward Lewis, Keller Williams Realty. How are you?
It's gonna be done with me hopefully soon.
Oh, I'm not bad. Haven't seen you in the
Well, I knew he was gonna buy.
coffee shop like that.
You gotta do it now.
Yes.
I'm trying to read this. Yes.
But he won't get prices.
Well, I'm not sure.
It's calling others don't know is what.
I said, I wish that was the case, but, I was calling about, we talked earlier about the possibility of, you and your husband getting set up, to purchase a home. Just wondered where you were in that process.
Hey, Jean, it's Deborah. How are you? I'm good, sweetheart. How are you? Oh, no, what's wrong? Oh, sweetheart. Well,
Hey, Alan, it's Deborah Saintsing. Just wanted to call and see if you guys had a chance to do any more diving. I haven't, and it's sort of getting cold, but I just wanted to touch base with you. Enjoyed taking the diving classes with you guys so much. And also, I wanted to just touch base with you to see if you knew of anybody who was thinking about buying or selling real estate.
but I know that we need out of the position.
I have another call coming in, and I look forward to talking to you. Bye-bye.
Do you want me to come back to that and things and things like that?
Yeah.
If you know anybody who might be.
Sometimes life gets in the way.
Well, don't worry about shaking. Don't worry about picking up. I'll leave class and I'll have to run by and get my clothes, wash, change clothes, because I'm a business attire. And then I'll swing by there, and then we can chat for a moment about what's going to work.
Okay, now
How are you?
yeah, that's what it is.
Good, good. I was letting you know that I gave your number to a lady that sold their house, sold them a house, and you may have been down there. It was that old schoolhouse down in Randleman that was moved. You knew that? It was a schoolhouse that was moved from Sophia down to Randleman. And you may have gone down there when they were buying it.
You need to call her, and the only reason I'm asking you to bed probably if you want to. But the only reason I say that is because you know.
Okay, well anyway, her name is Elaine Cameron, and she's calling.
She's going to be the first next week, and I want us to be the first ones to get in there. So, call her leave her another message, and by the time I get there this afternoon.
Okay, now this is what you just talked about.
Call you back,
I
I'll
don't know who the.
I'm just.
Okay, sorry, what?
Okay.
You know, anybody
All right,
looking at
well,
boxes,
I'm.
Oh, no. Oh, I know what you're talking
Sometimes it's not always.
No, I sold that house already to an investor.
All right, sweetheart, I'll see you in a little while.
Anyway, this lady's name is Elaine,
You're welcome, honey. Bye-bye.
and she's gonna be calling you.
uh,
So just look for a out-of-state area code. She's from South Carolina.
You know, I haven't talked to you in a while. I actually just got a call because I had a couple things open up recently
I'll be able to look
a little bit about some of the stuff.
I mean, I can be available most anytime.
Give me a call back with the chance. I actually needed to discuss a couple things with you about
Yeah.
working with you.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Appreciate
you.
No, you use the power
Somewhere there on Sunset.
Well, I miss you guys. It's seeing you.
Okay. All right, and good luck with
hope you're having a good day.
No, I've been just really busy, So anyway, stop by the house and see me.
She's going through that.
I need to come down for some margaritas
It's
too.
not quite as critical as what
I
you're
know.
going through.
So I work with Keller Williams.
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it's some great house. They actually have.
Well, listen, take care and look for this call.
Hey.
All right, talk to you later. Okay, bye.
Hello, my friend. I had just called to follow up with you and
All right,
talk to
start
you
wrapping
about
them up.
I just wanted to let you know.
Start wrapping them up.
So, I know that you and I just discussed about, your future plans for this year home and buying a new one. Probably in the next
Okay, Elizabeth, we're stopping.
year or so. So, I just wanted to.
Do you get anything?
You
Well, I have
wanted
a
to
friend
get
who's
together
actually
maybe and
approached
set
me
up
about
a
helping
come
him
out
out,
there
so
to
I got a
a
voicemail,
market
but I'll
analysis
let her
on the
know.
home
Okay,
site,
good, good.
and see
So that's a
what
start.
That's a start,
updates
yeah.
you need to do. And I also have an app that I'd
John,
like to share
you
with
get
you. I
anything?
can text you that.
You
And then that way you can see what all is in the market area and where they're good looking. Even when you any travel, you can plug in that city, state, zip code that you're in and look up all the properties.
Okay, well,
But I'll text you that and then talk to you and let me know what you can come. Yes, show you what all's going on in the market.
all right.
Sounds good.
You might be able to do that.
Well, I'll text you that app and help get
My young
you
man got married,
Saturday.
2 weeks ago in Arizona, and that kind of threw me off.
And kids will come, it's not a big deal. Okay, yeah. This is the same project. Mom will text you that, so you guys have it.
Whenever you get a chance.
All right, I'll let that do
Yeah, that's, well, that one with me and the girls and it's my 4 kids.
Well,
And the girls are friends, so I don't look anything back, but no, we hadn't been together, all 4 of us, for 3 years. Well, they're all.
yes, yeah, I happen to do here, like, I have to see.
Oh, it is. Well, once
For
it's-
agents.
Scott LaRue, that
Okay.
switched, I'm sorry, yeah, Scott.
Yeah.
Alright, and this is the
All
best
right,
one to reach out.
look forward to hearing from you.
Alright, and I think you'll go
Call back, what's the time
through
frame?
that in
All right.
the next
Thank you,
session.
Amy.
One of these sessions, if not, you get one.
And starting with.
You get my sense on the whole thing.
Just use your technique.
Yes. Yes. I don't understand, but we're gonna sit about in here.
We're not gonna let you go.
Okay.
All right, have we, we still got one on the phone here. We're,
I'm done.
you're done, we're done. Time out.
Yes. The lady that I called, real chatty, so. But, yeah.
Okay, great, thanks,
And
John.
that happens too.
It should be.
So, especially if you're calling people that you haven't spoken to,
I don't know what's going on with it.
so you'll get some
kind of student,
No,
well, like I said, I know how chatty she is.
It was kind of hard to get it back onto the screen.
Well, your appointment at 9,
You couldn't even use
now
the
you just
script.
swing by here and, do a team meeting, and then I have to go.
Maybe by using the script,
I
we
have to
kept
arrange
her from
all of my
being
clients.
quite as
Oh,
chatty.
now we're gonna meet every Monday,
Shouldn't have
Wednesday,
been
Friday.
answering your
Well,
questions.
before I had them ready.
Yeah.
So now I have to take them all, clean them all on Monday. So now I can't do that. Now I gotta change.
I was looking at it.
It's ridiculous. So like I have to leave here, go home, get my cleanup truck,
And sometimes you do, you just can't.
Goes,
drive.
Sometimes it's just very
To their
difficult to
house.
get off the conversation, especially if it's somebody you know. Because I got
Text them.
so somebody that I've sent a lot of business to, and he sent a lot of business to me, and we hadn't talked to each other in a long time, because we're being blah, 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 blah. So it's hard sometimes. But if you try to stay on script as much as you can, and keep leading that conversation back to what you want, and that's referral. You'll get there. The more you practice it, the easier it is too. Okay, so did we have any appointments come out of this today?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, not the exact date or anything, but I am going to meet up with him. But he is one of my friends.
Okay.
Good friends. But he's looking to buy within the year here, so I want to get started on everything and just get him looking.
Very
and all
good.
that stuff. And he
Get him set up with a
with a
lender.
first, and then get him what he needs, what specifically he wants. And
Right.
then start doing everything. So.
Perfect. Anybody else?
appointment to talk to the husband, and of course, I've just met this lady at the coffee shop next door to the office. We just have struck up a conversation.
Oh, okay.
And her husband works out of town and only in town on weekends. So
Very good.
got a promise for her.
Okay. And if you don't hear from him when you think he's back in town, you'll follow up, right?
Yep.
Okay, Will?
Yeah, I made 4 calls, and everybody's at work except one person.
Okay.
So I left messages with those 3.
That happens some days too. You just have to keep
Yeah.
calling. Keep
And
calling.
the person I did reach, he has family in Puerto Rico, so the discussion kind of moved in a different direction.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't want to sound like I'm blowing them off because,
Yeah.
so I kind of introduced the app anyway. I
Yeah.
kind of butchered the script and, I said, well, hey, I've got some valuable information for you I'd like to send you. We have, Keller Williams, we have this
Right.
app. And the app will be, thinking about relocating, would be great for you. I'm going to send it to you. Let
Right.
me know what you think about it, and I'll get back with you.
Guys, that's a perfect example of knowing what's in your toolkit, for one thing, and how you can use it, and being positive, and sort of, even though you butchered the script, you left a message such that you should get a call back from him. So just being knowledgeable about what you have, what your skills are and are going to be you'll get there. You'll get there. Don't be overwhelmed by this today, okay? It's all good, right?
Yeah, it's all good.
It's all good.
It's all good.
I think the challenge is, if you are talking to people who you haven't talked to in a while, you have to kind of get out of the way.
That's exactly what Hayworth was saying. We
Right.
got somebody that was kind of chatty. I did too. I made a phone call. It was a 2-prong call, but because I had sent him some business today, and I wanted to let him know to expect a call. And so I was trying to get a referral from him, asked for that, and he kept chatting about, well, what have you been doing? We hadn't seen you in a long time, blah, 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 blah. So I finally did get it back on track. So you just have to work with those people. And in the beginning, you probably will spend more time on your conversations during lead gen than you will as you get more practiced at
These scripts are really long.
it. Some of them are,
You can get to the point of what you're calling about without necessarily going through all of this stuff. I mean, I'm just talking.
yeah. Well, get with some of the folks here in the market center that are doing a lot of lead generation, and just sit with them one morning and listen to what they say. And you can quickly decide whether or not they're getting what they want and they're following the, what do I want to say? The attitude of the script. What the script was designed to get by using their own words.
Yeah.
And I would recommend doing that. Somebody that wouldn't mind you sitting in, following them around. You know, that's how we learn a lot of times is by doing rather than by this. So that's why we want you to take what you've gotten in here today and go up and start practicing it tomorrow, okay? So, we were talking about personal notes earlier. So anytime you do get an appointment, you want to use that appointment that you've gone on and send a thank you note for that. And there's a little thing on page 46 that you can follow. They wanted you guys to write some notes today. And I doubt that anybody used their missions and understood that they were supposed to bring notes to write today. So we won't write notes today, unless somebody's got them and wants to do it.
Where do we get branded Keller Williams note cards?
It's on the campaigns though. It's some of those has the printable marketing. It's under the marketing.
Okay, see, that's something I didn't know. I was
It's
going to say ask
productivity
Kayla.
coaching day. Yeah.
Ask Kayla. But
Always ask Kayla.
but yeah, if you want to go into the marketing part of my KW, there may be some there.
You can order
But
the
we can
cards,
cross-thread
or
it.
you can print them yourself too if you want.
I would
I've got them.
print them myself, or go to Vista Print or something like that and get some printed. It's probably cheaper. So who wants to read this little thank you note example they've got there on your page 46?
What page, I'm sorry?
46, is that where it is?
47.
47? Okay, I got all. So,
Thank you for taking the time to chat with me today. It was great to catch up with you and let you know that what I've been up to with my business. I'm thrilled to be with Keller Williams, and I'm available to you at any time to be an asset and resource to you, your family, and your friends. Please call me whenever a question or need comes up. I'll stay in touch. I appreciate you, and I wish you all the best.
and enclose a business card. All right. So, what does that thank you set your lead up for? A follow-up. I mean, you say, I will stay in touch. You've asked them to let you know if they have any real estate needs. So, but mostly it's the I'll follow up. So they're going to expect you to follow up and expect another phone call sometime in the future. All right, skill number 4. I think this is, I don't know what page that is since I'm on 48. You're page 48. Be accountable to your big why and your monetary goals. So this is talking about an accountability feedback loop. Who wants to read that little section there for me? Under that. Brandy?
You just want me to do 1 and 2?
Just read the paragraph and the 2, no, 1 and 2.
Okay. Earlier in the 6th personnel perspectives, we learned that accountability is a tool for continually changing the results in your life in those areas that matter most, your 20%. You also have the career growth initiative and the 4 conversations to assist you with accountability. Goal achievement is a direct result of accountability. To support your goal setting, we recommend you 1, follow an action plan. During this course, you will have an action plan that outlines the specific actions you will take to achieve your goals. You will also create a calendar that helps you time block the specific activities you will do to achieve your goals. Number 2, work with your market center leadership to help you Measure, evaluate, and make adjustments to your action plan.
Okay. So I want you to listen to this. To-do lists, unfortunately, are not planned. They're not focused, and they're not really action lists. They're unresolved issues, like picking up the dry cleaning, stopping and getting a gallon of milk. Those are entrepreneurial activities. So to-do lists are not something you want to put up there as an important thing to do. You're going to get to it, but it is not an action plan. Instead, you want to move from that E to P with an action plan. And what does the action mean? You're going to take action about some activity that's going to get you to your goal. Okay, does that make sense? You need to properly prioritize and plan your time so you focus on the things that matter, your dollar productive activities, and avoid squandering your time on low value activities. By writing everything on your action plan, you empty your mind of these stressful reminders and make sure that you prioritize these actions coherently and consistently. This helps you improve your concentration because you don't have these distractions buzzing around in your mind. You keep your action plan on your computer, tablet, or phone so that you can easily check it and update it and maintain it. So your action plan, on page 49 probably, okay. Who wants to help me with this? Somebody read number 1, 2, and 3.
Make a list. First, make a list of all the things in your world that require action or resolution. Everything that's incomplete and needs action, whether it's urgent or not, big or small, personal or professional. Number 2, prune. Now carefully consider each item. It is dollar productive and part of your 20%. Does it have real relevance to you? If unimportant or not of relevance, delete it. 3, prioritize. For the remaining items on your list, determine 2 things, their importance and their urgency. This will help you organize and prioritize the list. Important activities have an outcome that leads to us achieving our goals, whether these are professional or personal. These are 20% items, the ones that are dollar productive. Urgent. These are activities that demand immediate attention because the consequences of not dealing with them are immediate.
All right, thank you. So how many of you have had access to the book, The One Thing? Does anybody know about The One Thing? Okay, this is another book that Gary Keller has written, and I would advise you reading that. And the book poses a question that we should ask ourselves over and over, and that is, what is the one thing that I can do such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary? And that takes a little thought. It's kind of, we're talking about those rocks now. The big rocks and the little rocks. So you have to ask yourself the question every time you need to focus on the one thing that will propel your business forward. I want you to remember this. It may be in your book if it is highlighted or underlined it. That activity will always be a dollar productive activity. That's the one thing that you can do. So what's a dollar productive activity that you should be doing every day? Lead gen. That is going to lead you to your closings. Okay? So on the next page, there's a little activity block there. And I want you to quickly fill in whether you think that's part of your 20% or whether it's urgent or whether it requires nothing at all. Okay? Just put a little check mark on the column you think that belongs in.
Sorry, I got 2 callbacks.
Good. Okay, we're on your page 50. Is that what we're on? 49 or 50. All right. Let's go through this. Is number 1, what is number 1, do you guys think? Return a call to a person inquiring about a listing. It's urgent, and it's also important 20%. So that falls under both of those categories. Scheduling a training class on contracts. That's a 20% one. You're right. Okay. Number 3, daily 10-4. It's both urgent and part of your 20%. That's part of your 10-4 is kind of like your machine. Think of it as your machine to build the widget. Okay. Lead gen and your 10-4. Lead gen is part of that. So that's your machine that's building your widget. So you can't leave any part of it out or your widget's not going to come out right. So number 4 is put marketing materials together for a meeting with a seller next week. Well, I skipped order new business cards. Okay. That shouldn't even be on this list. That's not on our list. That goes on another list. Okay, put marketing materials together for a meeting with a seller next week. It's actually important 20% and not urgent because it's next week. So urgent implies we need to do it now. So we've got a little time to put that material together, but it is part of our 20%. Update my Facebook. That doesn't belong on this list, okay? Pick up my dry cleaning before they close. Huh? Actually, it's urgent. It is urgent. That's an urgent activity because you probably do need what's in that dry cleaning for your appointment tomorrow. Lead generate. It's both. It's both. So is that going to help you with your list? So you put everything on the list each morning. Successful agents get up at 5:30 every morning and they start their day. They get their coffee, they turn on their mykw.kw, they make their lists, they get their set the names of the people they're going to lead generate to ready, and they make that list and they prioritize it, just like we just did. Okay? So here's on the next page is an example or a blank form for you to make a list. Okay, so fill in the top 10 or 7 or 8 and prioritize them. The first one's there for you, lead generate. They added another step in there, and that's to rate each one on the importance and urgency. So you prioritize them by number. How we doing? Got a list? Who wants to share their list? Nobody?
Okay. I have make callbacks, finish paperwork and set up at office, view online listings, view open houses, do market research, get branding standards for like cards and stuff, new clothes for showings, create a database and catalog, and get a calendar.
Okay. So what did you take off of your task or activity list out of that bunch?
As in remove?
It doesn't belong on this list because it's neither part of your 20% and it's not urgent.
The new clothes for showing is basically at the bottom of the list at the moment because I have enough of that to do what I need to do right now. The rest of it is stuff I still need to do because I have a little bit of a different situation.
Okay, so were the business cards on there or getting branding information?
Well, I have to have the branding information to do any of my, like literally any of my promotional stuff or my advertising stuff at all. I have to have it because we're not allowed to do anything without it.
Right. Is that going to earn you money? In and of itself. That actually goes on another list.
All right, I can go with that.
So what else was on your list is going to be dollar productive? Part of your 20%.
I mean, creating the database
Yes.
is a huge part of it. I think doing market research for me.
And you said something about previewing?
And previewing, because I also am aiming for more commercial and not just residential.
Okay.
So doing the market research is a huge thing for that.
Okay.
And,
That could be, that's part of your 10-4, actually. Anybody else want to share their list? Hayward.
Course lead generate, follow up, write notes, call for sale by owners, review houses, attend trainings, complete tracking information, and create a working database.
Okay, what belongs on your important part of your 20% and urgent? Almost most of it.
Excuse me?
Almost most of it, I think.
I had follow up and write notes is urgent. And call for sale by owners, preview houses, attend training is important.
They might actually be urgent. Attending training is not going to be a dollar productive thing. It's going to prepare you for the dollar productive activities, but it's not really a dollar productive activity.
I had those.
As the urgent and not.
I had those
Okay,
important.
but this is confusing. And the first time I did it all wrong. So important is part of the 20% of the activities that's going to get you 80% of the results. So really, the 10-4 is important because that's building your framework or your pipeline for business. That's part of the 20% that's going to get you results. There may be some things on that list that are important, but they're not really part of that 20%. So when I did it, I said, finish my loops for 16 Charter Place and 495 Olson. And I checked that as important, and it is, because that's dollar, that's commission. Get my list of who to call. That's not really important, but it's urgent. And I had checked it as important. but I think that's more urgent because I need it to make my calls tomorrow that are going to lead me to that 20%. Order bags for door knocking. I had that as an important thing, but it's not. It doesn't even belong on this list. Go on a listing appointment. That one's urgent and important. Follow up with the buyer regarding a CMA, a market analysis. That's both important and urgent. Call the dentist. Get an appointment. I had that as important. It shouldn't even be on this list. Doesn't belong on this list at all. That belongs on the honey-do list. So you got a honey-do list if you got a honey, or you're doing your own honey-do list. But that's what that is, right? Wouldn't you agree? All right, so you kind of understand how to use your task or activities list that you're going to make every day to stay on track, okay? Live by your calendar. The next page talks about living by your calendar. Here's a truth. I want you to highlight this. Successful agents plan their days and they stick to their plan. All right? Successful agents plan their days, it's on their calendar, and they stick to the plan. In Ignite, you're going to get into the habit of planning for the critical tasks each day, and you'll schedule activities that generate revenue first and schedule those that maintain your business second. Okay. So your branding stuff probably is important, but it's not, it's urgent but not important. Okay? You're going to learn how to time block. And if you're working with Arlene McGinn, our PC coach, she's going to teach you how to block your time and show you what a calendar looks like and what it should look like. Define time blocking and its importance. If you erase something on your day's time block, you must replace it somewhere. Because those activities that you put on your calendar should be for your 20%. Okay? Now you can have on your calendar, on another part of it, those honey-dos, but just not include them in the task that you have to complete. And I've talked about protecting your time by going in a room and putting a sign on the door that says do not disturb, lead generating. If you come to the High Point Business Center and walk around that office, those signs are everywhere. And you used to see them here. I don't know if you still do, but when I was interim team leader, I knew which doors not to knock on in the mornings. During that time, you allow no interruptions unless it's a real emergency, like a family crisis. It's easier than you think to waste precious time on unrelated phone calls, water cooler chat, or putting out fires that can wait until later. So you really have to ask yourself, when something comes up during your blocked time, do I really need to do that now? Is it going to be part of my 20%? Or can it wait till the end of the day? Can it wait till tomorrow? At the end of the day. All right, let's move on because we've still got some stuff to cover and it's almost time to go. I told you we were going to stay over about 10 or 15 minutes. There's some things that you can look at when you're doing your mission for Wednesday tomorrow, and that would be on pages, I guess it's 53. It says during the night, on Tuesdays and Thursday activities, Saturday activities is just an example of what you do on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and what you do on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and how to block your time for those activities. There's an example of your Ignite 4-week calendar to look at. Okay. And on this, I don't know what page that, I think it's 55, maybe your turn, led by your calendar. Is it 57? Okay. Page 57. Once you start blocking your time now, based on the fact that you're going to be in the Ignite classes in the mornings, you're going to have to schedule your lead generation for that day in the afternoons or in the evenings. But block it. Go ahead and block it. Alexander, I see you looking and you're going, oh my God, when am I going to do this? Because you're working, right?
I literally am leaving from here to my job every day. So until you get through Ignite, I don't know what to say.
On the drive.
I mean, I might be able to spend about 30 minutes in the car, and that's about, and I've got breaks and stuff at work, but.
I would use that time for that then. Figure out a way to use that time to do that.
I mean, most of it's, what I do at work is I find people before I even finished my real estate class, I already had like 6 people that were talking about moving in the next year. I started doing this before I even finished my class.
Okay, very good. So you can make those contacts and that information into appointments. Go ahead and get those appointments. I was telling John over here, John York, that if he got a listing appointment this week making calls, don't worry about it. We'll get you ready for it. Let somebody know that you've got a listing appointment. We'll get you ready for it. So don't be afraid. Don't turn down an appointment because you think you're not ready. We'll get you ready, and you might even get somebody to go with you, just as moral support. All right. So it says after Ignite, you'll maintain a similar calendar to what they've posted here for you. But instead of attending Ignite, you will be lead generating during that time. Okay, so who's going to hold you accountable? Well, yes, but you really need an accountability partner. So I need you to either choose somebody in this class or somebody in the office where you work. I know, Hayworth, you work out of Asheboro, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Are the rest of you going to be in here in Kernersville? Anybody coming to High Point? Alexander's coming to High Point, yippee. John, you're coming to High Point, yippee. You'll be with me. Okay, the rest of you are going to be here. Choose somebody in this market center or somebody in this class to be an accountability partner. And touch base with them every day and let them know what you've done. Let them know about your successes. That's the big thing. You want to share those successes with somebody right away because it's important. It's going to be your livelihood. Get into coaching. So talk to Arlene. Get into PC coaching. Personal accountability means that you're willing to personally understand and accept the task, take action to receive results, answer for the results obtained regardless of the outcome, and to accept blame if things go wrong and make corrections and improvements to avoid mistakes next time. So, what are some benefits of being accountable, do you think, to someone else?
Keep you on track.
That's one of the things. What else? Anybody? Well, the book says you're going to achieve big goals and long-term success. It's going to keep you focused on what's important. So accountability partners, even if they're newbies or cappers in training, when you're listening to someone else's activities or their responses from their activities or what they did, can see more clearly than you can. They can see it, even though they may not be as experienced. So they can provide feedback that's going to help you correct what it is you did wrong. And it also builds trust because people know that you can depend on them. So if you're an accountability partner to somebody, the two of you are building trust among each other because you can count on each other. All right. I guess it's the next page of your book talks about partners in success, and it's talking about building this team of accountability partners and how to do that. And it's got rules here for accountability partners. So would somebody read through those rules for us real quick? Elizabeth, how about reading through those?
One of the great benefits of having an accountability partner is that it increases your productivity and keeps you on track and in check with your goals. The rules are: provide a safe place to share, set a frequency of checking in with each other, create a commitment and stick to it, follow through with action items, dig deep to find out why you do the things you do, allow to give and take feedback, listen and pay attention while the other person shares, respect each other in the process, and have each other's best interest in mind.
Okay, so let's just say, for instance, that I'm a partner with Deborah. Deborah and Deborah, we're partners. We're accountability partners. And I'm not doing my lead generating. And I confess to Deborah that I really don't like doing it, and I haven't been doing it. And that would be almost the honest truth. I hate doing it. I'll be honest. But I've confessed to her that I just haven't been doing it. What should she do?
Well, she should go back to her, her purpose. Why is she doing this?
Yeah.
And I think the things that drive you, those success things, what you want. But if you really want that, this is the way to get there.
So Deborah's going to hold me accountable, and she's going to.
What your big why is.
Yes.
And reiterate to you that if you want to achieve your big why, you have to lead generate.
Ask me
and what
why.
can I do?
Ask me
why
am I not doing it?
Yeah, why are you not doing it?
And it's usually exactly what you guys are thinking. It's a pain in the ass. But I'm just sorry. A shot's a pain in the ass too, but it usually makes you well. I'm sorry, I'm on tape.
It's $2 now.
But it's the truth. So the things that we don't like to do in life are generally the things that are going to help us be successful. It's all about just doing the right thing, doing what you're being taught to do, because it has been proven that this works. There's no question that it works. And if you take bold one time, you'll see how it works. It is awesome. Awesome. Okay, the next page. What they're doing here is giving you some, they're talking about partners in success. Some of these are programs that we don't have in this market center. I don't think we have partners in success. So you're going to choose your own accountability partner. It's talking about selecting a team of 3 to 4 people from the fellow cappers in training to be accountability partners. You can do that. It's talking about coaching or mentoring. We do have a coaching program. Arlene McGinn, as I've mentioned, is our productivity coach, and I would highly recommend they expect you to sign on with Arlene. Okay. On page, I'm not sure what page it is. It's called Agreement of Expectations. All right. On page 63 is an agreement that I want you to read through, check it off, and sign it. And on the next page, there's an agreement with your family or significant other. And tonight, I want you to go through that with your partner and at home, significant other, whoever. Fill it out and sign it. You can either keep these in your book or you can take them out and put them somewhere in a folder where you can get to them. Because once you're through with Ignite 1, you might want to have these agreements somewhere you can get to them. So you're going to go through this and you're going to commit to attending all the Ignite sessions. You're going to commit to adding to your database 200 or more throughout this whole process. You're going to commit to lead generating, speaking with people about real estate every single day. Commit to making business calls during your Ignite classes. Commit to completing your missions. Commit to being prepared for your customers by memorizing and using scripts or sales language. Commit to working on your 6 personal perspectives. Commit to time blocking your calendars. You can finish the rest of it, sign that. And that quote by William Johnson. Johnson. If it's to be, it's up to me. Well, it is. And if you're single, like I know I am, I don't know if anybody else in here is single. If it's to be, it's up to me. If the trash is going out, it's up to me. If the car gets washed, it's up to me. So if it is to be, it is up to me to make it happen. I'm sorry?
63.
63, I believe, is your agreement of expectations.
It's actually 61.
Is it?
On mine it is.
63.
Okay.
Sorry.
I thought it was
63 is
61.
family significant other agreement on mine.
Okay, yeah, 63 is the family significant agreement. 61 and 63. So fill those out, check them off, sign them. Okay? And get your team leader to sign them. That would be Michelle. Okay? So we're almost finished. The page that says putting it all together, your action plan. I want you to go through that later today, tonight, sometime, and fill that in. Get started on your 10-4. And always from here on out, bring your laptops and your phones to class because you'll need them both. Okay? This was probably the only session of Ignite that you didn't need your laptop. Okay. Don't forget to do your missions. Those of you who did not have a binder, I have missions. And I also have your next sessions of Ignite printed off up here. Hopefully your books will be ready before you leave. They want me to have you. And you have something I'm supposed to sign too, don't you? Okay, so before y'all leave, I'll hand you a sheet. You'll be asked to grade your instructors on every Ignite class. You don't have to sign it. so I won't lose. Said I wasn't terrible. And I'll be signing your little green sheets. That's Linda. Yes.
Can we go ahead and pass those sheets out for the
Yes.
shirt?
Well, she's written them all. Oh, okay.